Howdy, folks, and welcome to Adventures in Alberon. I'm your Dungeon Master, Joe Truff, and I didn't set up that camera. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon. I switched it over to all four cameras today because our camera's having a little bit of trouble. But we're here nonetheless, just like we are every Friday. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon. This is our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons games. I'm Joe Truff, your Dungeon Master for the evening, and joining me, as always, Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina. We have a really great game to get into. For those of you who can see the battle camera, you can already see there's some stuff going on. For those of you who were here last week, you know exactly what's happening. So we'll jump into that in a second. We have a few announcements before we get started. First of all, another congratulations to DOS949, our last week's winner for the Dicey Encounters dice set. I believe that Dicey Encounters reached out to you. Can't wait to see what you picked out. And thank you to Dicey Encounters, who not only supplied dice for this giveaway, but also to all of us customized dice for the campaign. Super, super cool. Thank you, Drew. In our store, which we have links for below in the description, we now have not one, not two, but 3 shirts on sale. There is the original Adventure in Alberon shirt. There is the Finger Gang official shirt, which we have one somewhere.
That's right.
Talon, yours is going to go out.
I can go get it.
Oh, that shot. Talon, yours is going to go out this week, so don't worry, it is coming to you. Finally, next week, we'll be celebrating 1 year and 4 levels of campaign, which is pretty cool.
Rarely does this ever happen.
I know, right? And not only that, when I counted up our sessions and then also the one shots that we've done, we have missed in total 5 weeks. Like, yeah,
Damn.
47 fucking.
We're
47 weeks.
We're on. I mean, we're episode 24. We started these episodes when we were in session 15.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Find yourself a D&D group that loves you like
For
that.
sure. So yeah, 1 year and 4 levels of campaigns. To celebrate this, we have a number of things that are happening. On Instagram tomorrow, or perhaps later tonight, there will be the new character art for Gunter and for Morwen. These are going to include a character sheet. So in our battle cam, when we are not in battle, there will be the character sheet. You'll get to know a little bit about the characters, and that'll be available for you guys. We're really excited about it. It's going to be super cool. The template looks awesome. Big thank you to Fredrika Valova, who is our campaign artist for Campaign 1. Thank you so much for everything that you do. It's actually crazy. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And then finally, as always, we have Sirenscape, which is our digital tool set that provides music, sound effects, all manner of different ambience creating things for a dungeon master, for a player. If you just really miss the sound of an open ocean, all available on Sirenscape. So check that out. Finally, I think we're ready to begin. So
Well.
turn off our fun music.
And get to the real stuff.
Yep.
So when we last played, as you guys all slept within this snow castle around a rose quartz colored hot spring, Heinrich, you now no longer seeming to require sleep, kept watch. A blizzard set in. With very limited visibility, you were unable to warn with enough time before half of an auric, this cow-like creature with shaggy hair, was dropped from somewhere up in the gray, plummeting down, smashing through the ceiling of this ice castle and striking Gunter. Gunter, you awoke, and as a group, you guys decided that you needed to be very cautious as you progressed forward. You moved along after investigating this corpse and realizing that there were a couple of things in there. Heinrich, I believe you found a stinger, some kind of a proboscis, or proboscis, depending on how you would like to pronounce it.
That's, where I'm from.
Yeah.
It's proboscis.
Proboscis and Port Queen. You also found a couple of teeth, double-edged and seemingly almost designed to break off within their victim. You also discovered that this body, possibly from the proboscis, was very venomous. Poisonous. Poison is when you eat it and you die. Yeah, venomous is it bites you and you die still. Anyways, you guys then made your way. Proboscis. You guys made your way through the woods and up to the woodline directly before the River of Colors. You've been warned ahead of time there are creatures that exist beneath the ice. Very unlikely to fall into those. However, as a group, a lot of unlikely things happen to you. And you found yourself face to face with a Shrenyu, this gray, scaly creature with long claws that did remind some of you of the Crotego that you fought long before the stream started.
No.
No. Was it on stream?
It was on stream.
Maybe it was on stream.
Crotagos.
Colin, let us know.
Also, I figured out the best name. They're Frotego.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Starting early.
Hey, that's not a mark. That's just clever.
You all discover the Gates of Ascension. Currently, 2 large wooden pillars, no longer much of a gate, remnants of a civilization no longer present. Shay, you know that this is the remnants of a Second Age giant civilization. You traversed through the gates, took brief shelter in the quick-cut mines, discovering Gunter that it was in fact a silver mine. You began to ascend up the eastern face of the mountain across a winding path. This blizzard setting in, creating almost gray-out conditions. Visibility non-existent after 15 feet. This entire time, it seemed as if you were being followed. Heinrich, you especially, keeping watch every night, were beginning to hear some kind of a creature flying high above your vision. And as you exited through the second snow fort that you guys made for the evening, after finding a dead dwarf and going through his personal effects and mourning him in very different ways, you all slept. Gunter, you dreamed.
That's a bad dream.
As you made your way along this icy ledge out and into the snow, you were finally faced with the creature that was making all of these noises, that long, mournful wail. The searching sounds finally culminated in a slam as this massive creature descended. For a little bit of reference, and let me go ahead and throw on a little bit more appropriate music now that we're getting into the game. For reference, there is a cave about no more than 6 feet across and less than 6 feet high. Very, very small here. And you guys came from around another cave that goes in around here. This is just rock and ice and snow. Going up past your visibility, you would know you're actually fairly close to the top of this mountain. It's not terribly far away. However, at this moment, this massive wyvern with scales and actually, Shay, you being the closest to it, would notice there are patches of almost fur sprouting in places. There are parts of this wyvern that make it appear possibly adjusted to this cold climate. However, as it slams down into the snow between you guys and the cave, I need everybody to roll initiative because we are getting right into
God
battle.
damn.
I love
I
it.
needed a high one, and I got my
Oh,
classic Heinrich shit.
thank God for Rakish Audacity is all I'm gonna say.
Thank God for the fact that I always know I'm gonna just have bad initiative. It's fine. I love the
I
consistency
feel like you
of
don't
these
always.
dicing.
25 to 20?
It's pretty off.
Oh. All right, 20 to 15.
15.
15 for
Whoa,
Shay.
that's bad.
Yeah, you guys are in rough shape. Alrighty. 15 to 10.
I boost mine to 12.
Jeez. Okay. Morwin at
That
12.
means I
and then
rolled a
Gunter, what do you
2.
got?
1.
Oh.
I'm a 9 if you care.
Oh, sorry. I thought I had you. I have 4 written down, but one is in the wyvern. You had 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Probably going last.
Probably.
you were
Yeah.
going last. Now we know where everybody's going, and you're last. First is Shay, followed by Morwin, then the wyvern, then Heinrich, and then Gunter.
That's actually kind of good.
Better. Yeah,
Shay.
It's good that it's us.
What do you want to do? Morwin, you're on deck.
You said the cave's right in front.
Yeah, so actually you are standing currently in the mouth of the cave and looking through this massive creature on one side, like not actually paying any attention to you at the moment. On the other side, this cave, you will need to bend down to get into it. However, looking in, even with your lack of dark vision, you can see it opens up pretty readily. You can't see much farther than 10 feet in. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna kind of duck in out of the way
Okay.
and ready a hit in the event that it moves.
Okay. So just for a reference, I do not have a base on this. It is considered a large creature, so it does take
So you're
up.
putting in the middle of the 4.
Yes, so it does take up those 4 squares. So currently you are not in base-to-base contact with it. However, yeah. So that is your turn.
Yes.
Okay, you have that attack ready in case it moves. Morwen, what do you want to do?
I'm going to use my turn to try to distract it away from them because I know that I'm faster than them.
So how are you distracting it?
Gonna make a snowball and be like, "Hey, big boy."
Same exact words over the howling wind and the whistling snow. Make a performance check.
I would say that's even in the same like
You know what?
intonation that you would have done it to. Hey, big
Make an
You know
intimidation
what?
check.
Actually, you know what I'm gonna do to try to distract this motherfucker? I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
But let's see. I'm going to use. I'm charming now.
Are you?
Charming.
How do you pronounce this? Panache.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use
You
the
got it.
panache to.
So now that she knows, she will use it wrong.
I'm gonna try to charm this motherfucker for a second. Just
Okay.
be like, snowball, let me be like, "Hey, big boy."
Really? Seduce?
Okay. Go
I
ahead
gotta
and
be charming.
make a
Okay.
make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Charisma. Oh, persuasion check.
Yep.
Contested by the creature's wisdom. Okay. Oops. That's a 12.
Okay. That says you said wisdom.
Yes.
That's a 5 + 1. So fails.
Wait,
what happens to it?
does it share the same language?
No.
I'm being fair. I'm trying to be fair.
I appreciate that.
I don't know. It's a dragon. I don't know if it will understand me
Okay.
though.
Fair point.
So you wind up with this snowball. You pack it between your paws. Very easy with like the pads and the fur. You're actually quite good at it. But as you pack this and whip it out, it kind of you lose track of it as it goes through the snow. You imagine it probably does hit, and as you say, "Hey, big boy," that is your turn. We're gonna see how it reacts on
You gotta
this.
move.
I'm gonna. I can't ready a bonus action, can I?
You can
No. It's an action to use the ready action.
I am gonna move. Let's see. I don't want to move to the edge.
Duck for cover.
No, because I'm trying to distract
Just
them. So
please.
I'm gonna move maybe just a little bit, actually out of cover.
Here,
Like kind of away from them, but not so close. Maybe
Towards
one
the
more
mountain?
square.
here.
Bruh.
Okay. So you throw the
I
snowball
hate
and
that. I hate everything about that.
without even waiting to see the response, you take off in the direction of this cliff. You can't see over it. You can see the edge of the cliff, but it's just
I
gray.
have to say Morn instead.
It is the Wyvern's turn. Heinrich, you are on deck. So,
Yeah, I know.
looking at what is
Yeah,
happening with...
you might be on your own. I might have to say Marwin instead.
It's okay. I can probably.
All right, so he doesn't understand your language, and as you throw this snowball, doesn't seem to have too much of an effect, but it does begin to flap its wings. There is the... and the snow displaces and swirls around. I would say, Heinrich, you can feel it buffeting you. It begins to lift into the air. It is going to begin to fly, and as it does...
Okay, so now we're considering this flying.
I have a thing for that. Give me a second. As it does, it is going to attempt to make an attack on Morwen. Oh, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Do I get my hit for it leaving?
You, what are you attacking with?
Staff.
Is it already extended, or do you need a bonus action to extend it?
How far away was it from me?
It was 10 feet away.
Then, no, we're good.
All right. It is going to make an attack against you. So it takes off, displacing snow all around it. And as it roars towards you, you do hear this like piercing shriek. That is going to be 27 to hit.
Yes, uncanny dodge.
Make an athletics check, please.
15.
Okay. You watch. Where is it? It's grappled. You are grappled. I do not have that right in front of me, so I'm going to use restrain for the moment. Instead of doing damage, as it gets close to you, it slips through your guard. You strike out at it, but it closes around you and lifts you up into the air. Its movement... 20, going to get you just off the edge. So Morwen.
Oh, jeez.
Went the wrong way.
Oh, jeez.
As you begin to run from throwing the snowball, there is this loud, long shriek. And suddenly it grows louder, and you feel the wind from the wings almost knock you over before this large force slams into you from behind, and you feel yourself lifted up and over the edge, and you are surrounded by gray. As soon as it moves, you can just barely see the edge of this cliff. That is its turn. That brings us to Heinrich. Gunter, you're on deck. What do you want to do?
That fucked with everything I was gonna do.
What do you want to do?
I mean, I don't want to shoot it because it's just gonna fucking drop her.
I would choose real quick.
Yeah, I mean, cast my once a day darkness on it just to confuse it.
Okay. So, it's centered on it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I mean, it's not like I can put it on anything. Like it's not holding anything, so I'm just gonna
Sure.
a point into range. So just
So-
kind of like point and just.
It's a 20-foot dome, correct?
No, it's a sphere.
Sphere?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Well-
Okay, so, Morwen, as you are lifted up, and there is a moment where you're just seeing this cliff fade away, and you think to yourself, like, my friends are going to help me. Everything just goes black.
And then I'm gonna run up to the edge, just in case it does drop her.
It is considered blinded.
Yeah.
All right. That is your turn, and you're running up to the edge.
So I'm gonna run up to the edge, so I'm like,
Yeah, you can get right.
just with like the preparation of if I see her falling out of that sphere, I'm jumping.
And so,
out
as this is
faster.
happening,
Yeah.
like right as it clears the edge,
Yeah.
you catch up to it and cast darkness. And so
Yeah.
there's this moment where, like,
I'm trying to
it's-
basically just like confuse it so it might fly back over the.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's my only hope right now to get Morwen not over the edge.
Is that your turn?
I mean, yeah, I don't have any. I'm not going to do any bonus actions.
Fantastic. Gunter, what do you want to do? Shay, you are on deck.
Oh, jeez. What should I do? What do I do to try and help?
What do you want to do?
No one has the ability to hover Morwen.
No, that's what I don't have anything prepared that can really help anything for this.
Think quick.
I think
something.
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna use. Oh, I can't even hit it really. I don't want to hit it because it'll fall. If I do this though, it's gonna take her out too.
Figure
Don't
it
do
out
that.
quick, 'cause you're about
Just
to
go
lose
run
your
for
turn.
cover,
Okay,
dude.
I'm
Run
gonna-
for fucking
yeah,
cover.
I'm gonna cast enhance ability on myself,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go run.
Is that concentration?
Yes.
Okay. So you are now considered concentrating.
Yay, good.
What are you enhancing?
I think I want to do
Oops.
Cat's Grace.
Yeah,
Okay.
You done fucked up. Like
You-
real bad.
You put your hands across yourself as you turn in the snow, and there is this moment where amongst the snow, where you have been treading through, and because of how high it is for you and actually the two of you, well, actually not at all for Shay, the two of you have been having trouble getting through. It is deep. There are areas where it's up to 2 feet deep.
Wait,
And
oh, you're saying the snow.
the snow.
Yeah. Duh.
But Gunter, all of a sudden, you feel a little bit lighter on your feet. Is that your turn?
Then I think I'm gonna do bonus action. No, actually I can't. 'Cause
Alrighty, is that your turn?
Never mind. That's it.
Shay, what do you want to do more when you're on deck? At this point, you have just seen this thing and just start taking off, and with your non-low light vision, you just see gray.
Yeah.
And the snow howls around you. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna come back out to the rock and just kind of, I guess, do my best to help Gunter keep moving forward because I would have no idea that this is even going on.
As you run through the snow and get to the rock, you can see just beyond it suddenly Gunter like emerge from this gray. Is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay. Morwen, what do you want to do?
So it's all dark and I'm restrained.
You are.
What can I do? What does
So-
restrained mean? Like I just don't have
grappled.
movement?
Technically, you're
Technically,
grappled. I don't have restraint. So your speed is 0.
Okay.
You can't benefit from any bonus to your speed.
Okay.
The condition ends if the wyvern is incapacitated, which is the condition incapacitated, and it also ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from reach of you. Or you from it.
Okay, so I can't move and I don't have bonus actions.
Correct. Well, no, you do have bonus actions, but you can't benefit from any bonus to your speed.
Okay. Then I think I'm going to
You can step.
take out my rope.
Okay.
It's all dark, right?
Yep.
I can't see shit. I at least know my own body and tie a fucking thing around me.
Okay.
And just go for where I think the ledge is.
Roll a d6 for me.
6.
Okay.
Heinrich.
You watch as in this darkness, as the darkness shunts out and envelops both of these creatures. A second later, you just see from the bottom of it, like a little rope drop and kind of plummet into the gray. It's going directly down.
Okay.
That is your turn?
Yeah, I wanted to toss it.
And you did. But again,
okay.
you don't really know what your
Disoriented,
orientation is
yeah.
at this point, and also it's quite disoriented. So it's kind of tumbling, and you're just kind of throwing the rope. The D6 was what direction it was going to go in.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone say something.
What?
Yeah. I would say
Yeah,
Gunter
Need
being the
some
loudest.
direction.
You hear
That's why I'm
Morwin's
asking.
voice just say, "Someone say something," and just the rope just kind of uncoiled down. That is your turn. It is now the
That
wyvern's
sequence of
turn.
events. Please be confused enough to fly at least over the edge.
Miles, roll a d6 for me.
Oh, God, don't do
Over the edge. We're already over
Over
the
to,
edge.
I mean,
back
back,
over the
Please.
over the edge again in the opposite
Careful what
direction.
you wish for.
We got a 3.
All right, so it is going to emerge from your sphere because it doesn't stay with it, correct?
Yeah, it was a point in range or on an object, but it wasn't carrying an object.
It is
And I wasn't going to do it on Morrowind.
Morrowind plummets.
Oh, no!
So this is going to move.
Oh, it moved further. That's cool.
Yeah, so it gets to the edge. You suddenly burst from this darkness. You are upside down. It is holding you still by the shoulders, but kind of grasp that your legs go up past where its chest is. Your rope is dangling beneath you and kind of trailing out as you, like, you are now rushing away.
I should have tied it around some leg.
You sense, as it flaps its wings, it is laboring to keep you up. It's moving slower than it normally would. Still moved about 40 feet.
Okay.
Do with that what you will. As an action, it's going to dash.
Oh no.
So it's about 40 feet off the board.
He's gonna make kitten kebabs.
All around you, there's just howling wind, and like the snow stings your face, stings your nose, stings your ears. That is its turn. Heinrich, what do you want to do?
Jesus fucking Christ. Where's it taking you? Ah.
To feed its babies. Or maybe to babysit its babies.
Maybe.
To wife me.
This is probably the stupidest fucking thing I could do.
What are you going to do? Gunter, you're on deck. It's about to start moving again, so you got to
Fucking hate this. I mean, dimension door onto its back.
Sick. Love it.
I hate this so much.
Alrighty,
I
so-
hate this so much. I also
gonna-
let go of. It's not an action to dismiss it, but like I don't need the darkness there anymore.
Sure, yeah, it just so as it kind of
shrinks back.
into its center point, you step off the ledge and
Yeah.
shunt yourself through this purple door that opens up like an inch below, so you just step straight through it. Go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
That's 18.
Okay. You
Thanks, Drew.
out and you are almost immediately knocked back. You manage to like struggle forwards. A lot of it coming from the fact that with your armor, you're a little bit heavier, and that anchors you a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to immediately grab onto. There are patches of fur on the back that are emerging as part
Right.
of whatever its evolutionary process is.
Yep.
You like snag on and pull back.
Put me near.
The fur itself, like almost this long, you can like wrap your hands into it.
Yeah.
This is very, very
Now, can I
Shadows of the Colossus.
Oh, of course. I'm feeling
You're
that exactly.
here?
Somewhere, like
Yeah.
on its back
Yeah,
and
the
lower.
wind
You're over
like,
here.
howls
I'm
past
dangling.
you. You can see now straight below you, Morwen like upside down. She's
Yeah.
holding. She's a rope tied around her that's like drifting behind as this thing pulls away.
Yeah.
You are on its back.
Yeah.
Very technically,
I'm not really grappling.
You're not grappling it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it would have to. Then it would plummet down and yeah.
So you're okay.
Look at my work.
There you go.
Beautiful. I love it.
So, I mean, I'm gonna shout to like Marwin, and I try to be like grab onto me somehow.
And so from about 15 feet below, you look like past
And all of a sudden,
yourself
I'm on
up,
him.
past the head, which is starting to crane around behind it. And after the last, like, you see suddenly Heinrich, like, reaching down towards you. Still, again, about 15 feet away. That is your turn? Mm-hmm. All
You
right,
need to
Gunter,
get up
what do
to
you want
me.
to do? Shay, you're next.
Yeah.
Is the dimension door still
No,
there?
No.
It's just like a.
It's like a portal, and you
Yeah.
run in
Yeah.
right.
It's called
when it
Dimension
closes.
Door. It doesn't
opens,
literally
so it's
have to
this
be like.
shimmering,
Yeah.
but it is. It's this shimmering purple door that you step through,
And
and
then it
as you step through, it
disappears.
literally shunts like right close behind you. So you have stepped through it. It is gone. But Gunter, what do you want
Temp
to do?
portal.
I'm gonna be like, that thing just took Morwen! Ah! And then I'm gonna run
What
this
did you
way.
say? Something with Mormon?
This
That's
thing just took more.
Oh, okay.
10, 20, 25.
Yep.
And then I can't really do anything from here, so I think I'm just gonna thaumaturgy, be like, where are you guys? Ah!
From 85 feet away, you hear Gunter's voice steal over the wind of this blizzard, the rush of being carried by a wyvern like very fast, these huge flaps of wings, and Heinrich yelling. You still hear Gunter's voice over all of it. Gunter, that is your turn.
Well, if it's the last words.
Yes. That's it.
Alrighty.
None of my bonus
Shay, what do you wanna
actions
do?
are of any use.
I'm gonna dash all the way back and just kind of keep following the path, so to say.
This way?
Yep.
Okay.
In the attempt to kind of catch up and keep pace, but like off to the side.
So again, this goes into a cave where you would lose sight. You do know that through that cave,
We're
you
going
would...
up on the top of the cave.
Okay, you're climbing. No worries. So Shay...
I can run up.
I know. Shay, as she runs, I would say, Gunter, you see this burst of movement, and then suddenly snow hits you from behind, and even as you turn, you can see Shay run, plant 1 foot, like leap, almost 15 feet, grab onto a rock, and propel herself up and out of your sight. She just scales. I believe if you do not haste, I think you can climb from where you were, like another 45 feet. So you... I mean, it's just parkour at this point. You grab onto a handhold, and without even getting a full grip, you're already launching yourself. And using this momentum, you carry yourself almost as if like you're running up the wall. You grab on and look out, and you see nothing.
Wonderful.
You are in the howling gray.
Wonderful.
That is your turn?
Yep.
All right. Mormon, what do you want to do?
I'm going to try everything that I possibly can to climb up to Heinrich. I'm upside down.
Okay.
Can I do like a hardcore sit up and like try to scramble?
Make an athletics check
Get
to try
within
to break
5
free.
feet.
What did you say?
Make an athletics check to try to get free.
5.
You struggle
Can I do
and you feel
acrobatics?
these
Damn it.
massive talons just grip into you. You are not getting free.
Can
Not
I?
the 5.
All right. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So I've still got the rope. Can I try to toss it over to Heinrich? As a
Technically,
bonus action?
it
Sure, I'm
is an
struggling.
action. What you could do with a bonus action, you can bonus action attack. You can bonus action hide. You can. There's a couple things you can do, but you can't.
Bonus
It
action.
would be an
disengage.
attack.
You
technically,
can't
to try to-
interact with an object.
Yeah.
That is concerted
You could
effort.
bonus action disengage.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to say, if you want a date, you could just ask.
To the wyvern or to Heinrich? Yes.
We don't know.
Into the wind, you call this out.
To anyone who's listening.
Fair enough. It is its turn. With you on its back.
Yeah. I mean,
go
that's
ahead
going to
and
fuck it up.
roll a d6 for me.
Oh, okay. 1.
Okay.
It turns
Marwan.
around and comes back.
You begin to fall. This creature lets go of Marwan,
Oh jeez.
and it's going to attempt to scrape you off of its back, which is not going to be super easy, truthfully.
No.
Do I have any kind of reaction to that?
We're
Am
gonna
I
see
allowed
on,
a reaction?
We're gonna see on your turn. I mean, you could make it with your
An opportunity.
with your claws. You could try to shred it a little on your way down.
I think I just try
on
to
your-
grab it. I
on
don't
your
want to
turn,
be
you can do
falling.
that. Yeah, on your turn you can do that.
Okay.
That is going to be a 12 to hit.
Nope.
All right. So as it turns, like the wings, you can see it has these taloned hands on the end of the wings, and so as it's striking at you, like the whole creature will like
It's
whirl
like twisting,
to the side,
yeah.
and it begins to kind of plummet, not out of control, but it seems to almost be trying to whip you off.
Right.
It does not get you off.
Okay, but I saw it drop Morwen.
Yeah, you would see it drop more when
Right.
Morwen's no longer attached.
That's my focus of this whole thing right now.
Same.
Morwen is falling. That is its action. It's going to start flying up.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry,
No
Mike.
worries.
Sorry.
As you, as it's like striking at you, you are suddenly kind of pressed down and you feel yourself rising. That is its turn. Heinrich, what do you want to do?
I let go and dive after Morwen.
Okay. So as it's like
This is so romantic.
as it's reaching back and the whole body like will start spinning violently.
I
you just
imagine
let
like
go.
I imagine it's like second claw coming around and maybe that would have hit me, but like I'm just like, and then like try to straighten myself to catch up to Morwen.
From the cinematic angle on top, you can see as the claw comes down, just
Yeah.
you let go and you disappear into the gray.
Yeah.
The rope's
following
dangling,
Morwen.
I'm sure, ahead of me.
Sure.
You are falling probably fast. You would go down.
Yeah,
the rope.
faster than the rope,
So, we're gonna get to that in a second.
So I can't catch up this turn.
Do you can
I mean,
fall?
I'm significantly heavier, so at least the acceleration would be
Give me a second.
okay.
I only have light armor.
And
And I'm
yeah.
furry,
That,
so I
that
feel
doesn't
like
really
that's
affect
gotta.
it to a point where it's gonna
Right, not with
over 6 seconds.
I
to
work
it.
out more than him.
Okay. You fall into the gray. You are also plummeting. At the moment, you don't see her.
okay.
That is your turn. Gunter, what do you want to do? I would say, Gunter, at this point, you don't see anything.
You may have heard like a yelp as you were let go, because I'm sure that's pretty shocking to be like, oh,
At
I'm
this
falling
point,
now.
you look around and you are alone on this
Oh, yeah.
snowy, blizzardy
Jaguar
cliff face.
scream.
I think I'm gonna go.
Start firing guiding bolts off into nowhere. You hit both of us instead.
You're about to grab onto Morwen and just right in the face. guiding bolt.
Yeah.
I can't bonus action dash, right? Because I'm not a.
You cannot, but you can use your action to dash if you would like.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like run towards where Shay went, and then I'm gonna look up and be like,
Sure. Make a perception check. 10, 20. She's way
be like maybe Shay has a plan. She seems to do that now.
Nice.
Oh, nice. 18 plus 5.
Squinting up, you don't see Shay, but you do see where all the snow has coated this mountainous area. There are very clear areas where something has pressed down, and then the whole sheet of snow beneath it will fall. And you can see there are these big clumps where there are missing snow, and you would imagine that tracks Shay's path. But you do not see Shay. She is well beyond your sight range.
Okay, then I'm gonna bonus action.
You hear
All
beneath
alone
you
on a mountain.
a Gunter sound. Gunter, that is your turn. Shay, what would you like to do more when you're on deck and you are falling?
Can I see anything? Or is it just total gray?
Total gray. You can see
Do
the,
I hear anything?
like, would you like to make a perception check? You hear howling wind
And
Gunter
And
sounds.
Gunter. Yes. got
Okay, go ahead.
Nothing else to do. 29.
With a 29, you hear a number of things. You hear Gunter yowling beneath, and there is this kind of sad, almost like an abandoned child in a way. You also hear this panther-like roar, that wildcat-like roar, and you can kind of pinpoint where Morwen is compared to where you are. About 140 feet straight down.
Because you're way
And
up
then-
too, right?
You just hear as something else drops past her. You hear the screech of this wyvern as it seems to take off a little bit forwards and moving up. Everything, there's the two of them moving down and it moving up, and Gunter crying.
Okay.
But mostly Gunter crying.
Go back down to Gunter
Okay.
and tell him we need to get out of sight.
we gotta help them.
We
Fun
need to.
fact, you climb faster than you drop. So you climb down the mountain and just,
Faster than gravity.
yeah. And you actually, at level 20, you'll be faster than sound. But theoretically. you see suddenly out of the gray, orange, blue, right in front of you, Shay.
Shay, we gotta help him!
We gotta get out of sight.
But we gotta help him!
Yes, but that requires us staying alive.
Anything else?
That's it.
Morwen, what do you want to do? You are falling.
Try to grab on.
right.
You know what we're doing.
I thank Doss for this. I'm gonna take off my pirate's coat and try to make a parachute.
Don't let go of it.
A.
You're gonna lose it.
Make a dexterity
Oh
check.
no, can I puff it up? What's the best way of doing it? Nah.
You already said what you're doing. Make a dexterity check. Just flat
All
dex.
right.
Got it. Because if you die, because that flies into my face and I can't see.
So that is a 23.
Nice.
Okay. It is not a very effective parachute. This is a very worn, often patched red leather coat that you remember you got way back in Piss.
Do all the patches just like fly off one by one?
No, I got it from Port Quinn.
Oh yeah, right. Basement of
From my
Morwen's
store.
Miscellaneous, no longer. But you grab onto the edge and kind of pull the jacket out, and you do feel it and catch air. You don't stop falling. You don't feel yourself magically begin to like parachute down. Heinrich,
Yeah.
you beneath you suddenly see this rectangle of red. Doesn't seem to be slowing down terribly, but it is. You don't know how far you're going to have to drop. It is slowly approaching you.
Yeah.
Anything else, Morwen?
Help me!
Is the rope anywhere? Well, I guess it's the Wyvern's turn.
There is this as it. Shay, you with a roll of 29 here.
Like up away?
Yes,
Or-
you get the sense that it moves up. It moves up far enough that you don't hear in which direction it goes, if any.
Okay.
But you get the sense that it is above you, or at least that is where you hear it go.
Sure.
That, as far as you can tell, is its turn. Heinrich, what do you want to do?
So, rope trailing off tied to Morwen at all? Like straight
So-
up at this point, right?
Assuming that, sure. I'll say that you can see probably about 10 feet in front of you. The rope, the end of the rope.
Yeah.
It trails down and around and then goes into the jacket itself, and then Morwen presumably underneath. Although you actually don't see her at this point.
Is there any way that I could like grab onto the rope and like just straighten myself to fall faster to catch
certainly
up?
try. Make an
That's what I'm
athletics
doing.
Do like
Sure, not acrobatics.
Why don't
You can make an
try
acrobatics
it?
check.
I
won't
think that would
tell
make
you.
more sense too, because I'm not like physically doing anything. I'm just
Sure,
trying
go
to
for it.
like be more dexterous.
Agile.
Yeah, so that's 15.
Okay.
Aerodynamic.
Yeah.
You straighten yourself
Fuck these
out
horns.
a little bit, and with the horns, I mean, it does kind of like turn you, and it's a little bit sickening. But as you begin to rotate, almost like a rifling pattern in a bullet, you do sense this red kind of get closer and closer, and all of a sudden, there is this end of a rope. And right as you grab it, still gray.
I mean, start pulling it towards me as I'm falling.
Okay. You begin to get closer, hand over hand. You get just a little bit closer, and you hear Morwen's voice. You hear above you, Gunter,
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
That is your turn.
Well, yeah.
All right, Gunter, what are you doing?
where is Shay now? She is still directly in
Directly in
front
front of you.
of me. Where do we go?
Into the cave behind us.
In?
In.
I'm gonna go in there.
Okay. Listen to somebody and go inside the cave.
And I'm gonna
You should take off a point
just
for
continue
listen.
dashing.
to
Okay,
direction.
so you just start running back the way you came?
Yeah, I think that I'm just gonna beeline it in the straight line from where Shay
Never mind.
pointed.
Keep the point.
Okay, you begin sprinting through
So
this
the
cave.
other cave?
Your low light vision beginning to like
lost
pull
a lot.
elements in, and you
We've
can see
lost
these
a lot.
glinting bits of I think it was called azimuth, whatever that silver sort of ore is that you can derive silver from. And as you run, yeah, you don't quite get far enough to really do much, but you're in this tunnel now.
Acanthite.
Huh?
Acanthite.
Acanthite, thank you. Shay, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna duck, like, into the mouth of the cave,
Okay.
like far enough that I'm out of sight, but I can still keep an eye on like what's.
Okay.
But
going
not out
on.
of mind.
But
You
not
duck
out of
in.
mind.
Morwen, at this moment, as you are plummeting, it's been mostly gray around you, and you felt sort of a shift in the direction that you move, and all of a sudden, though the wind is like picking up and still howling, there are details on the ground. You have kind of pierced the clouds, and as you begin to fall, you can see the mountain now on your side. You're still falling fast. The ground at this point, about 70 feet away.
I really don't know what else I can do. I have no spells or anything, so I'm just gonna
Pull yourself on the rope.
I'm just gonna fucking scream, and I'm gonna. Did I not feel a tug on the rope or anything?
You're pulling yourself towards it, and your rope, if I remember correctly, is a 50 plus a
No, I've got a 90-foot rope.
90-foot rope. So then
Jesus.
definitely not. No, I
How
don't
is
feel
she that
anything
far ahead of me if I was only 15 feet above her?
All right, then I'm panicking, and I fucking just yank on the rope. Just I don't know.
yet. Okay. You begin yanking on the rope. That is your turn.
I guess no. Wait, can I? Is there any sort of like bracing myself for the fucking fall?
You want to try to do that?
I mean, yeah. Why?
Okay. You feel
I'm a cat. I can.
How far have we
you
fallen?
brace yourself.
hard
In the
to
gray,
tell.
you have no idea. I mean, you remember once you got more than about 120 feet off the ground, it's just gray. You were in a blizzard. However, all right, you brace yourself. We're going to come back to that if you hit the ground. Wyvern's turn. That happens. Heinrich, what do you want to do?
Am I
this moment,
still-
you now suddenly pierce through this cloud cover,
So how
and you can see the rope. You can reach out and grab this rope.
How far away am I from Morwen?
At this point, probably. Oh, you wouldn't see the end of the rope. So as you break through the cloud cover, the rope is extended past you.
Yeah.
You can grab onto the rope, no problem. Morwen's no more than 20 feet beyond you.
Oh, okay. Get as close as I can by any means, including like pulling on the rope and everything like that.
Make an athletics check. Morin, make an athletics check.
4.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Fucking shitty Heinrich.
sweat.
Heinrich, you begin like pulling and pulling and pulling, and it's just slack. This is a 90-foot rope. And as it just kind of is moving past you and the ground welling up towards you, 70 feet, 60 feet, 50 feet, there's a sudden lack of slackness, and you feel the rope go taut. And Morwen, at this exact moment, as Heinrich is like panicking and pulling and pulling and pulling, you like just hold on, and he yanks you up that last like 10 feet. You now are within reach. You could reach out and grab Morwen.
Yeah.
So you reach out and you
Grab her
her.
arm. Now, was doing that thing with the rope the action?
Yes.
Okay. And how far per round?
When you guys get to Morwen's next round, you will be 10 feet off the ground.
This is gonna be that classic.
In this
last
kind of like
second-
crazy moment shit, do I see like, are we along the coast? Is there like water nearby or anything?
You guys are in a blizzard.
Well, I thought when we got through the clouds, it became more
You
clear.
still,
It's
you
still like
have,
limited.
45
Okay.
feet out,
Just
yeah.
do the thinking with
Yeah, yeah.
portals thing. Drop in and go change the direction.
That's not how that
Think
works.
about what
but-
you want to do.
I
Gunter,
already
what do
got
you want
it.
to
I
do?
already got it.
Still running?
I'm still just beelining it.
Make a
yeah.
perception check.
I'm just running. I'm like, I'm in a panic right now. I'm like, ah!
I know I shouldn't be laughing.
It's 11.
You run. The screams begin echoing off, and it's one path, and so you're not getting lost. But you imagine if it does start to get more complex, and there is a place where there is a branch, you would remember. You might get a little disoriented, but at the moment you're fine. You're running.
Paying attention. I'm just like, ah!
Shay, what do you want to do? Morwen, you are on deck.
I don't hear anything, right?
Not at this point. You're far enough away down where she doesn't hear you.
Can I thaumaturgy?
That would be action.
Start making my way back down.
Okay. You begin making your way. I mean, are you sprinting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've gone 50 feet each.
What is
turn.
that? And not step of the wind, that means that you actually catch up to Gunter in
You
this
know
first turn, and you can run 50 feet beyond him if you would like.
You can go 150 feet in one turn.
I can go
She's swift.
Fuck out of
She's
here.
Taylor Swift over there.
30 feet in a turn.
Get out of here.
And that's
You
without.
can go faster than that.
Yeah.
But what are you doing? You catch up to Gunter quickly. Running past him? What are you doing?
Yeah, run past.
Okay. Right by you. You get a blur of orange and blue and just gone. Round a corner.
I know
and
you
just
hate me right now.
gone.
Yeah, I do.
That is your turn.
You
Morwen.
ran towards the edge.
You fall. And right as you like lock arms with Heinrich, you are no more than 10 feet off the ground. It is about to hit you, and you are falling fast.
I pull him in, And I give him a kiss and I say, love me. Because I love you.
Heinrich,
Oh.
what do you want to do?
Dimension door back to the point on the platform. It's 500 feet of range.
Do you need to be able to see it?
No.
Oh, you need
just
to be able to be familiar with it.
familiar, visualize
Okay.
it, whatever.
Nice.
Right where I left, just off, like.
But aimed so that you do the.
Yeah,
like,
if there's a way to like,
launch,
So,
so like,
so that you.
I know like momentum and all that
Mhm.
shit. Because it's a door and stuff, can I angle it like up so we only take like limited falling damage
you can certainly
coming
try.
up that
Go
way?
ahead and make a straight intelligence check for me.
Okay, well that's bad.
You need those like spring brace things on your legs.
That is a 12.
Okay. So,
So I know that I can get back there. I just hope the angle is like at least towards the fucking. I'm working with like a 50% chance of getting not back again over the cliff and continuing to fall. Right.
And then you just keep casting it and build up the momentum.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
As you guys are plummeting, you have this last moment 10 feet off the ground where you lock arms. And Mormon, as you pull Heinrich in and you lean forward to give him a kiss, there's this sudden purple energy that envelops you. And as you lock lips, there is a shifting of momentum and you suddenly fly out and tumble onto the snow. I would say, given the speed that you're going,
Yeah.
it does. It
I'm
actually,
cool if we, like, fly into the wall,
It
dude.
blasts you into the side of the wall.
I love this image. You're
Now you're thinking with points.
Yeah.
Bro, you're still taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, I got some things
Uncanny
to help.
dodge.
The wall?
It doesn't work that
I see
way.
it coming.
Not bad. Okay, so as you impact the wall, still grasped, still kissing,
Christ. We break our teeth on this
No.
shit.
there is this.
I'm saying I love you.
Oh, my tongue.
You take 14 damage, 14 bludgeoning damage each. That is on 66. So you guys-
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still wouldn't have died
Wait,
at
we took
max.
how much?
Lucky.
14.
Yeah.
That's like
bad.
all ones and twos.
Okay.
No, wait,
For
twos and
reference,
threes.
based on how you were falling,
Yeah.
you would have taken 22d6
Right.
had you not angled it. So
Right,
well
exactly.
done. You guys, boom, right into the side of the wall, like tumbling, dazed, a little bit confused, Morin probably blushing, into the snow. You guys are running down. But as you sort of lay there, dazed, a little bit hurt.
Embarrassed.
I feel like with the
Embarrassed.
pull-in, I would have like,
Emotionally.
at that moment of teleporting, it would have been like a pull-in and grab kind of thing.
And then
To
Yeah.
like
duck
soften.
and roll.
Yeah,
Just,
like my intention was to, if that didn't work, at least to be underneath her to like
Sure.
take the blow.
Luckily, it did work.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
probably is why you both took damage because you would have been on the bottom,
Yeah.
but you just slam into a wall. That being said, at this moment, you sort of like still looking around for this. You hear nothing aside from the howl of wind
Probably ringing in the ears.
and a maybe permanent case of tinnitus. But aside from that, at this moment, you do not see anything immediately threatening you, and so I'm going to take you out of battle. You are now the two of you.
All
lying
right, all
out.
right. I won't distract anymore with my good looks. That's why you took me.
So I feel like we're both laying there like incredibly like out of breath and like terrified, heart beating and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, my heart's beating for many reasons.
Yeah. And I'm just still holding you and I'm just like,
Morwen's first.
are you okay?
One second, and I walk off, maybe behind that tree or rock, so I'm kind of out of his sight,
Sure.
and I empty out my pants because I totally shat myself.
Morwen says, after this like very, very emotionally charged
Yeah.
near-death experience and the howling wind and the gray
It's a nice awkward like a.
Did you
Yeah.
Did you poop your pants
Excuse
before or after
me?
you kissed Heinrich?
Who knows?
I give her
It was all a blur.
I give her privacy.
I don't know why I pooped either. I don't know if it was the fear of death or the kiss. I'm not sure.
It's actually a wyvern special ability. It can poop your pants.
Well,
It's a bonus action.
I've got that special ability myself. So,
So I'm gonna give you your space and then I'm going to sort of wait an appropriate time because I think you're just puking or something. And then when I don't hear anything,
you
I
just
sort of
hear
like
a-
walk. Yeah, I mean I just walk.
Over the sound of the wind, you don't hear
I don't
it.
hear anything, and especially me, the ever observant one.
If you go over
So-
there, it's a little brown spot.
So I'm gonna walk over there, and then with this new angle or point of view or whatever that this new patron has given me, I feel like the need to care well up inside me, and I use my Radiant Soul feature.
Sure. How much?
I'm gonna use.
What are you doing today?
I'm gonna use 2 of them,
Okay.
so 2d6 healing. 6, 4, 10.
So you see in this moment, this black eye that had originally been gold, like Heinrich's other eye, suddenly, almost at the edges, seems to glow. There is this pulse and this faint, yellowish, almost gold light that seems to drift out of it. And you are aware, this is sort of just this emotion that is coming out of you.
Yeah, it's.
But you perceive when this happens, there's this faint kind of poof, and you see the snow that is howling around suddenly seem to almost move around him, as if this force welling from within him, this radiance, produces actual physical power. And as this wave sort of washes out and over you, you feel elements of the bruises that are certainly forming underneath your fur almost seem to soften and release. How much is that?
It was 10.
So you can heal yourself, I believe, 10 points of damage?
Yep.
And then do you get part of that too?
No, it's just one target, 60
Gotcha.
feet that I can see, and then whatever the
Fantastic.
roll is.
Heinrich, you, in doing this,
Sorry, it's healing light, not Radiant Soul. My bad.
you
target doesn't matter.
you feel within, as this happens, that caring feeling beyond just caring. For the first time in a long time, there is almost this. It isn't just caring. This is something that for you is almost a calling. There is something that connects with you and seems to almost resonate with this idea of looking after people. Make a perception check for me.
That feeling's me. It's that kiss.
So either 4 active or passive 11.
Okay. You
Not great rolls today.
after that experience, you now are on this. You feel a little bit better, certainly cleaner.
I would have
Lot of
continued to
shame.
approach,
Lot of
like, even
shame,
after
though.
this, like, pause and this feeling.
Yeah.
I would have continued to approach and then, like, kind of coddled her a bit and, like, started guiding us towards that cave that I think that the other 2 are in, which is
Sure.
this one.
Speaking of which, Shay, in this moment, you still running footfall after footfall. You get to the point where originally you had come in and this bridges. So you're at a 3-way intersection.
Yep.
You know, continuing forward will eventually bring you to the beginnings of the path of ascension and eventually to the gates where you originated.
Right.
You guys have not explored this other path.
Right.
What are you doing?
I mean, my whole purpose in coming down this way was to kind of get maybe a better vantage on seeing if they did fall / we're moving in a different direction. So I would move to a point where I could maybe get that information.
Okay. So you continue, and you're running this whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. It took, so for reference, as a group, to get to this point, it took you like a day and a half from the base, from the gates of ascension. You make it down to the bottom. Math. About 35 minutes. But this is at a dead sprint, like bonus action. You are running.
Motivated by Gunter's yelping.
And no, you get way beyond that range.
Yeah, he's not there.
By the time you
It's
explode
like,
out
you know,
into
one
like the snow, it's still
thing.
howling around you, still
And then just
blizzard. You can see white all around you, and you see the gates of ascension maybe 100 feet away,
Yep.
just barely through the snow.
Yep.
You don't see any sign of Heinrich or Morwen. Make a perception check.
Good thing I'm not good at that. 22.
No
You
splat. No cat splat.
You do hear, well above you, just the faintest echo of that call. It is not gone, but it is far. But looking around, you don't see anything else displaced or out of the ordinary.
I mean, with that information, like, there's absolutely nothing I could do. If it's gone and there's nothing there, I would then turn around and start making my way back up.
Okay.
because-
Gunter, you
There's
make
at least
it
a Gunter.
another.
Gotta take care of the ones you know are there.
After half an hour,
Even
you
if it's
make it.
Gunter.
You get to the time it takes her to get to the entrance. You get to that intersection.
I
as you
picture
get there-
Shay doing a hard eye roll when she realizes she might be alone with Gunter.
right before
Sprinting still.
right before you see her, you hear this kind of very, very light, and suddenly she pops right into your vision from around the corner. She made it back in the time that it took you to get there.
Ew, frozen snots. Definitely frozen
Yeah,
snot
just
bubbles.
287 years of tears and snot just driving down this old dwarf's face.
What do we do?
We have to keep moving.
What?
Hopefully they figured something out. It's a great look for you, Gunter. Let's go.
Oh, you better tell us that he cried.
What's Gunter doing?
Crying over 2 more lost friends.
Yeah, I think Gunter is devastated right now. I think he's just gonna like.
How much do you weigh, just as a fact?
That's rude. You never ask a
Well, no, but
dwarf
this
his
is
weight.
8 stone.
Yeah, no, never mind.
The fuck is 8 stone?
8 stone?
Still crying and sort of just little snots coming down, and your snow white beard now beginning to take on elements of brown and yellow.
Ew.
I kind of like
Brown and yellow.
take him
Shit
by the
into
hand,
his
just kinda,
nose.
like half like pulling, half like dragging
And
him
your
back
hand
up
closes
with me.
around this leathery, wrinkled hand that is weirdly like kind of damp. And
Ew.
you pull Gunter along.
Pulling
Yeah,
him along.
100%. And you hear Gunter follows you, still just crying softly. You walk and you get to that intersection yet again.
Hendrik.
No one will ever say it right.
Heinrich,
Yeah.
Morwen,
Yeah.
you're suddenly aware of this kind of sound coming from back into the cave, and then suddenly you hear Gunter's voice, just kind of this Gunter noise, reminding you actually you would know it's crying because you heard it when Thistle died.
Yeah.
And so you are aware that it is Gunter
Yeah.
crying.
I would have set up a campfire for us anyways, like with the bonfire or create a bonfire. I would have like.
So you guys are
created-
not headed back?
I don't know.
We're
tucked like
yeah,
we
we're-
ran the way that we thought that they were gonna
Cool,
go.
no worries.
So
we're
we were.
traumatized.
So you guys do
So
not-
it was from here where she shat,
Okay.
like
further
coddled,
into the
coddled
cave.
her to the closest interior place,
Sure.
got in there, set up a bonfire, and just kind of
Let's
like
call it the
warming
dumping
her up.
zone. I didn't shit there.
Fine, the dumping
Okay?
zone.
I just
You're right.
unloaded.
Anyway.
Okay.
The dump yard.
You guys get to the intersection. You do not hear Gunter.
Yeah.
However, you are now faced with the choice. You can continue back the direction that you've already gone, or you could continue down this other path, which goes down.
Going up.
You want as well?
Yeah, I'm just.
Tugging Gunter along.
Maybe we can find the thing's nest.
You continue to drag Gunter
Sure,
along.
Gunter, let's.
Crying noise
Maybe
question
we'll
mark.
see it on the way.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the two of you doing anything? You're now tucked into this cave. You've started the bonfire.
Yeah, I'm making sure she's like feeling better, and I'm just slowly dressing my own bruises and making sure I'm not like fucked up.
Yeah. Doing the thing where you're like,
Beginning,
is anything
beginning
broken?
the
Thank you.
the equivalent
Thank you,
of
by
a.
the way.
Well, I wasn't gonna let you go.
Let's so I said a lot of things, and I thought I was
It's
can we
okay.
just-
I
can
understand.
is it weird? Are we good? I don't. What are we even talking about? No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I start bawling really loud.
Yeah, and just explodes.
And then I
into tears.
kind of like, for the first time, just kind of like actually go over to like
And
hold
when
her.
he touches me, I'm like, yeah.
And then, yeah, count this as like the beginnings of a short rest if possible to like
Okay.
just like calm her and like get some food.
So you're
and-
attempting to take a short rest.
Yeah, I mean, while looking around to see if this, because you said this cave goes back further. Now that we're like
Yeah.
sitting here and we've
So
been here
as
for a
you've
little
gotten
while.
into this beginning thing, there
Yeah.
is like the snow blasting into the mouth of it.
Right.
The way that it's shaped, it does hook a little bit and then straighten out. So it's going into the side of the wall, but it's not necessarily blasting into you.
Mm-hmm.
You would guess, looking at the way that the walls are, they are sealed with snow. You would
Mm-hmm.
imagine in the spring it probably melts, and looking down, you can see there are these little ravines as if water does drift through here in the spring.
Okay.
The floor here are fairly slick. And so you would imagine slipping fairly easy. But the passage winds out, traversing with chunks of ice that have kind of fallen and created very natural splits that then come back into the same pattern. It seems as if this is one trail, but there are areas where sight lines do get broken up.
Okay. And this is inside, yes?
Yes.
All of
However,
this is...
despite the fact that you're inside, wind howls through this cave.
Okay, so it's probably not that long.
Not howls, but there's a constant wind, not a breeze. And it seems to be coming from further up top rather than the place directly behind you. From where you are, that's sort of all that you see.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's still unfamiliar territory, still potential dangers, so like resting while kind of keeping an eye out for both of us. Just like making sure that we can get back on our feet and be okay. That's kind of it.
The two of you progress.
Gunter, can you make yourself go faster?
I mean, I have...
So insensitive.
Technically, I still have enhance ability, Cat's Grace, so I have advantage on my dex checks.
How long does that last?
An hour, up to an
okay.
hour. But that doesn't really enhance my speed.
Unfortunately, it does not.
If I fall less than 20 feet, I don't take damage, but that also doesn't increase.
Awesome.
Does not
So
increase
just
speed.
shift gravity at 20-foot intervals.
Shall I say yeet?
I could... Are we technically on difficult terrain?
No, not yet.
And I got nothing.
It takes you to about an hour.
So now it is...
Shay, you are acutely aware that you could have gone back to the entrance and then back here twice in the time that it's taken Gunter to progress a quarter of that distance. However, after about an hour, you emerge to the area where you can see the opening to the cliff face that you had done battle with this wyvern on. Given your passive perception, you smell smoke.
That's either promising or that's
Do I
we're
also smell smoke?
No.
really screwed.
You're 287. You don't
Also
smell a lot.
stuffed up
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
crying, probably.
Okay, Gunter, I know this might come across as me being insensitive.
I'm used to it.
Great. I need you to shut up. There's smoke. Someone's up here. It could be our friends or it could be someone else. But I need you to shut up. Okay.
It's the hardest it's ever been for me to keep straight.
I'm physically like...
We're going.
God,
He's
shaking.
taken direction twice now.
Yeah,
You know, that's
it's
got to
really
count for
hard.
something.
There's some
all
character
right?
growth happening.
All
It's
right.
really hard for Gunther.
We're going to move along the edge of the cliff. The inside. Here. So that way we're not out in the open. But I need you to do it quietly. Can you do that? Okay.
You wind your way out of the cavern and back into the snow. I'll say, you know what? You walk out into this howling snow. You progress past. There are displaced areas where the wyvern left, where Gunter ran through, where you ran through. There's actually a fairly wide trail because you do displace snow as you move. You move fast. But as you go out, the smell is getting stronger, and you recognize it's coming from this cave. And you see light, and I would say you guys went far enough in where they don't see you, but you do see. I mean, there's flickering of light. There is a fire within this cave.
Do we see who it is?
No, but you were just there, and there was not a fire.
Right.
2
Attempting
hours ago.
to move, I'm gonna say stealthily, or at least in a way that like it's not obvious that someone's coming up.
Like a stealth.
Definitely, yeah.
Gunter, are you being stealthy?
I think at this point, seeing the fire, I'm like, oh, friends! And I start running. I've tried really hard.
It's like,
As you
But I'm like-
smell and see the fire flickering, you sort of begin to tuck yourself in. You've seen Morwen hide a lot now, and
18,
there,
by the
there are
way.
elements where like you have picked up some tricks. You know ways in which you can kind of push your body into a space, and you being very small, you've picked up a good amount from this. And you begin to shrink, and then Gunter runs right by you. Franz, I
May-
just straight.
Thaumaturgy.
May I?
The two of you hear this.
Oh my god. I immediately get up and I run and we collide in a hug.
Inside, though.
Stiff-
I'm
Inside.
crying too.
I thought we lost you.
I thought I was gonna die.
Guys, shh.
We both
They both just turned and hugged me too. I'm like, shh.
And Shay kind of gets behind and begins kind of pushing this lump of you three now in this embrace.
So I see her hands going like that, and I'm like, ah! And I hug her.
I drag them all inside.
Okay,
I'm like,
so as
and
a
I'm
mass
thaumaturgy
now,
crying now.
No, you're gonna start an avalanche.
yeah,
is
no,
echoing
really, you're gonna
through
fucking
this
kill us.
cavern. Currently, you are the furthest in by like 3 inches. The two of you make a perception check, please.
Okay.
Which those two?
Those two.
Guidance.
18.
Because we're hugging.
Too late.
Okay.
Too late. You gotta do it before the roll.
Yeah, I already rolled
18.
18.
Perception, 19.
Heinrich, at this moment, as these sobs echo through this
It's gonna
chamber,
fucking collapse.
you hear this very, very small sound. This almost small paths in snow. And as you look over further into this cave, you do see footprints.
Okay.
Small.
Heading towards or away from us?
Away.
Away.
You would see with that roll, there are footprints leading to, and then like you can see by the depth, there was a
Yeah.
sudden stop,
And then like a turn.
and then it
around.
turned and left.
Okay.
It seems very small, whatever this was. It would be considered a tiny creature.
Okay. Well, good. And then seeing that, I like immediately like cut my hand over Gunter's mouth,
Okay. It is thaumaturgy, so it.
and I like
makes
shake
your
him to be like,
hand
stop,
vibrate.
Does
stop,
thaumaturgy
stop.
require a verbal component?
I'm gonna.
Thaumaturgy itself
It can
is
amplify.
a verbal component.
So, yeah, but does it require one?
It does.
Components verbal.
So
Yes.
as that immediately as you clasp it over, it mutes it significantly.
And I cast a message into his head, be like, "Shut up! Something else is here, and it sees us. It knows we're here." And also, thank you for caring so much. But right now, we're still in danger.
And then I look at the footprints that he just pointed out, and I try to discern what
Make
they
an nature
are.
check.
I love this like fucking bipolar old man, just like ha, like SpongeBob eyes.
Ooh, I have no idea what that is. That was a 1. The dice are...
You look,
Get
and your eye, I mean, you're 287, your eyes aren't as good as they used to be. You don't necessarily
Still
make
got,
out
like,
the,
hairs and stuff.
yeah, they're like kind of freezing, and so you have to keep like cracking away, and you don't see what he's pointing at, unfortunately. What do you guys want to do?
Did we get the short rest in that whole time?
You and Morwen can mark off a short
Okay.
rest.
I'm gonna roll a hit die for that. I can use just one or as
Yep,
many as
you
I
can
want.
use one. As many as you
You
want.
spend it.
Okay. I'm gonna use 2 of
Morwen,
them.
if you would like, you can mark off a short rest.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay. So, you guys now all together, Heinrich has pointed out that there is something else in this cave, that it has seen you. What do you all want to do?
Full health again, and all my
Sniff
spell
it.
slots back.
Sniff the trail.
Are you sniffing it to try to locate it, or are you trying to figure out what it is?
What it is.
Make a nature check.
6. Do I just inhale snow?
Make it at advantage.
Oh. 7.
That extra
You
1.
sniff around, and there is a familiarity to this, but you can't for the life of you name what it
Oh,
is.
you're just smelling your own...
Could I also now?
I'm smelling myself.
Make a nature check. And I'll
Just
say make
in
it
a
an
vein-
advantage now that people have like all pointed it out and
Right.
investigated it. Go ahead and make an advantage.
Thank you. In like a, in basically in like a, I
Just
pointed
like
it out.
one Gunter arm around Heinrich's waist, and you just got
Like the timing of all of this is basically like I point out to Gunter. Gunter looks, goes what? Morwen comes over, and then I go in and
You
look.
guys are all kind of peering at the same time.
Doss goes throw a snowball at it.
Literally the worst I could have done. A 1 on the D20, a 1 on the D4, and that's a +1 to it, so it's a 3.
Looking at this,
I have no fucking clue.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not in Port Quinn anymore, and there wasn't a ton of snow there. There was some.
Yeah.
And so footprints in the snow, not something you're terribly familiar with. looking for.
Only thing in my mind that I was thinking of, and this may be why I don't recognize it, was that one-eyed thing. Because of last session, you said someone's phrase of like "not ready yet," like my brain and made me remember it. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's that thing. And I'd be like, how do I even fucking know? I never really got a good look at it.
Yeah.
That's how I'll justify not.
Absolutely. So, as you guys peer at this thing, you're unsure of what it is. I would say, given all of your rolls, I mean, it's fairly dark. The floor has like slicks of ice, and so there are areas where they just disappear completely. After about 20 feet, you kind of lose track of it.
Well,
I mean, I'm not gonna wait.
That was exciting and all.
moving? What,
At the
We're
moment,
not.
you guys
No,
are
we're just
We're
standing
not.
here.
Oh, okay.
We haven't said that we're moving yet.
You guys are about 30 feet into the cave. From where you are, because you guys did move forward to look at those tracks,
Yep.
you would get a little bit around that curve, and you can see there are, going forward about another 18 feet, it rounds out into not a room, but almost like a cave. It gets a little bit higher. You can see that the ceilings go from about between 6 and 7 feet to almost 12 or 13 feet in this room. It seems naturally formed, so it's not a room, it is a cave.
Yeah.
It has a path that goes up, and you can now see just faint gray light coming down. You would be aware that it's getting close to dark, so that's probably daylight.
Now that faint gray is from a hole, or is it from an exit?
It seems to be like another part of the path that then goes up, but not straight up. It's like a gradual
Okay,
incline.
so it's like accessible to us.
Yes.
Gotcha.
However,
that's the main
you
thing.
also see there is a hole in the ground in the middle of this room. Can't see anything through it from this distance, but there is just a hole.
I turned to Gunter. But how stable does this room look? Being very cautious with the volume of my voice because of the ice chunks that are on the ground
Like
currently.
a stone cutting check.
That's a 18.
Okay. The mineral that you had detected earlier, the one that can be smelted into silver, it holds temperatures very well. You would imagine that the inside of this cave, and you can feel the inside of this cave is
Pretty
very cold, and so the ice until the spring probably is very solid. Looking at the chunks of ice that have fallen on the ground and looking up and seeing that there are elements broken away, the things on the ground probably knocked there, not falling as a result of. And I mean, you can see the way that it breaks and the way that the ice sort of is longer on one side. It was probably pushed and snapped.
So like physical someone.
Either directly pushed it or moving through the mass of them. But this would mean that this creature is at least 8 feet tall. If it
The
is
one
in
that
fact a
made the
creature.
tiny steps?
No. We don't know that.
Oh.
But just something.
the one that made
I
the
love
tiny
that. I
steps?
love the idea of there being steps this big, but it's like a 9 foot
Yeah.
tall.
It's
Tiny
Slender
little
Man.
Yeah.
footprints.
It's fucking
It's like a
spaghetti
massive
monster, dude.
It's like a Lorax shape.
It's like it's
Also the one
giant
that
foot
made the
binding.
tiny
Did we just like
I just
cross
think it's
over
a
to
funny
like Dr.
question.
Seuss land or something?
I don't know, but
That's
in front
fine.
of you, you
So-
see snow, and on the ground there is a hole,
Give yourself a mark.
and
for
up
that.
above. Okay, look at myself.
Up above, we don't know.
What do you guys want to do? Nice.
Offset the marks.
Well, look for any movement. I mean, there's something that was in here, and something broke that down.
Yeah, that's.
That entrance wasn't big enough for the
It would
wyvern.
need something forced to do that.
And then how big is the hole, and how obvious is it, and like what's the deal exactly with it? Is it just taking up the center of this whole cavern?
This
or?
hole, as far as you can tell, about 8 feet wide.
Uh-huh.
It's not regular, so probably naturally forming, although from this distance you can't really tell.
Uh-huh.
It's dark, so there's no light coming from underneath.
Right.
But you can't see into it from this.
Okay.
You're still about 25 feet away from it.
And
I
did you
stay
share that
far
information?
away from that because now I am
About the-
traumatized
yeah,
from
oh my
heights.
God, that's
Okay.
acanthited. Holds
Traumatized
temperatures
by
very
heights,
well.
whatever.
It's
But so did that crack off naturally, or did something push it?
something probably broke it.
And I'm gonna like kind of go from there and look down into the hole. Be like, let's stay away from that hole and maybe try to head out of here.
In my journeys, have I ever seen a creature or anything that could have done what has happened with this?
So you're
Like,
asking
I'm
me,
thinking
in
something
your
came out of that hole,
287
basically.
years, have you ever encountered a creature larger than 8 feet tall? Is what you're asking me?
With
A
tiny
creature
feet. I'm
larger
just
than
kidding.
8 feet tall that could break off the parts of the
We've s-
acanthite.
And
that,
we've
like-
seen them
Make an
today.
intelligence check.
Right, but that thing probably couldn't fit in this cave.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking the connection between the hole.
Natural
and the,
20.
Okay. So, in your time, in your long life, you have seen many creatures, some bigger than this wyvern, one in particular. But thinking about the footprints, thinking about the environment, you're not from the cold. You begin to scan around, and you can see on the ground now there are footprints. It's probably a quadrupedal animal based on the tracks kind of shifting diagonally. And looking really close, you can make out the prints are not humanoid in nature. And in fact, Gunter, you have encountered these creatures before.
Oh.
They're cats.
Ah.
a little larger than cats you're used to, not like maybe a domesticated cat.
Some sort of like mountain lion type.
Probably smaller than that. It looks to be maybe it's about the size of a Maine Coon.
ocelot.
Probably smaller than that.
Okay.
So, looking up at this break and looking down at these footprints, the two are probably not related. And looking further at this break, now that you're really examining it, there are elements of the break really right at the top where you can see little bits of ice that have refrozen. There was an impact, a direct impact, sharp, whatever this was, an edged weapon, struck into it that then broke this thing away. Not force. This was very calculatedly done. Somebody has probably done this before.
There's a precision cleft right there. Something did that. Not related to the tracks, though. Those are kitty cats.
Cat.
Kitty cat tracks.
Cats. Okay. Well, either way, let's stay away from the hole and get out of here as quickly as possible. Because if something is that big and that precise with that large of a weapon, as you're saying, I just almost fell to my death, and I don't want to get into any sort of situation like that again.
I feel like I've had a bit of an emotional, what's the word for some sort of ride that goes up and down?
Something that like coasts and
something
and
where
rolls.
I'm
and
rolling
tumbling.
around and I'm coasting through all of these emotions, and I feel like I could probably do
A tumble glider.
a little bit of
A tumble glide.
a little calm.
A little emotional tumble glide.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get out of here. Yeah, can we get out of here? You guys stay away from the
Yeah,
hole.
let's get the fuck out of here.
Go up
Yeah.
and out towards the light. Just get out and just make our way as fast as we can, or at least to the exit. Where we can
Very
camp.
interestingly, tumble glider would remind you that there is, it is not called a tumble glider.
Holy
the first
shit.
word of it is tumble. But near Mudtown, there is something called the Broken Bluffs. And on top of there is this vaguely recreational, you wouldn't know the history of it, but there is something that is called tumble something. You don't really remember what it is. It involves essentially base jumping with a real shitty parachute. It is not a very safe
Oh, I did that.
adventure.
Yes.
You would actually know.
Wyvern's skydiving. 1 star.
You would actually know.
Almost died.
Yeah, I know, right? Bad Yelp review.
Yeah.
Would not recommend.
You have actually known somebody who died.
Didn't even count down.
We'll call it tumble glide.
Just threw me.
They worked for the wolf.
Did I push him?
If you would like, I will fill you in your lore email.
I don't know.
So,
He pushed him.
I don't remember.
real weird piece of lore you dragged out there, but
You're welcome.
you have it.
You're fucking welcome.
That reminds me of that thing that person.
And I'm like,
died
okay, and I like tug on his shirt and just kind of like, let's get moving quietly,
So-
quietly. Don't.
Within this
I'm
room,
still all over the place.
at its widest point, you can pass the hole and leave about 8 feet of distance between if you go along the wall.
Would like to do.
Yes.
Okay. You guys walk by the hole and begin climbing up through this passageway. You climb up the this snow encased cave. There's rock and ice, and it leads to sort of a little bit of a platform after only about 10 feet. In fact, as you get into the doorway, you can actually see out. It is fairly, you can see sky. Not blue, still just kind of gray. Are you going to go through?
We're not like
Where are we
we're not
going,
confidently
Shay?
heading anywhere. We're scouting
Where are we
cautiously.
going?
I mean, I am at least
Where's-
like
Stealth
Considering.
checks from you.
Sure.
You already have a stealth check.
can't. Oh, disadvantage, right? Not can't do it. Boop. Well, that's bad. A 5 and a 4, so
Okay.
6. No, wait, with Dex, so 7,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
So you guys begin to move, Shay, staying quiet, but the rest of you fairly unstealthily. And as you progress up and into the doorway, a couple things come into sight. About 18 feet past where this cave goes out onto a very small cliff face, although looking around it, you seem to be almost at the top of this mountain. There is elements that go up further, but they get real sort of small and straight, and so you'd imagine climbing further very difficult, although you certainly could do it. 2 of you certainly could do it. More interestingly, there is a anchored into the mountain face itself, and you can see there are elements of it that are above the doorway. There is bolted into the ice, and I would say, Gunter, based on your previous stone cutting roll, goes through almost 6 inches of ice and into rock itself. This massive, somewhat rusted metal contraption made of steel. It spans out with a steel cable wound very tightly out and just into where your vision disappears, off into just more gray. Shay, you know that there are mountains on the other side.
So it's kind of like a gondola type thing?
There is. So, Shay, you know.
I guess. At least to us. not to-
Within these mountains, there is a group called the Uriel Watch. You don't know much about them. You've heard of them. And they have a couple of these things set up. You don't know if they've made them or if they've appropriated them from some other group, but they use these to go from peak to peak. You don't know much else about them. They arrived in your lifetime, actually, when you were very young, about 13 years ago. And very little is known about them. They keep to themselves. They do help people who are in trouble. They will just show up and help in the wild. They're a good group, but a very quiet group,
Enigmatic, so to say.
so to say. Gunter, you thinking about, is this some kind of a gondola thing, notice on the ground, anchored into its own cable that seems to go parallel to that one out and into darkness, this large iron, perhaps, crank.
I crank it.
Okay, so Gunter kind of waddles out. And
something
you
to interact.
grab onto it. Make a strength check, please. Because it is very rusted.
Guidance. $17 plus 2, that's a... That.
19.
That. Okay.
We're really
19?
on it.
Yes.
We're just not used to high rolls.
You grab onto probably about this long the handle of it, and you have to you sort of start to do it and it doesn't move. And so you have to actually straighten your arms and lean your entire body weight into it. And there is this kind of as it turns up from the thing, as it turns up and around. It's hard to tell sometimes because of the Gunter sounds. But it makes one whole rotation, and you see that steel cable begin to wind as it pulls into the device into the mountain. The cable disappears and then re-emerges through the rock itself into that secondary cable. There's a lot of resistance. There is something attached to this.
There's something attached to the end of this.
Was it a good idea just to start moving things, making noise?
I don't know, I'm still all flustered. Just
All right.
let me do this.
Let me help you out. I go over and I'm going to start helping him out.
Between the two of you, no problem.
Like one on the other side.
And it gets
kinda,
easier as you go.
What are those things called? The train cart thing? The up and down? They have
I know
a
what
name.
you're talking about, the pumping.
They have a
The
name.
pumping,
I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
You the more you
Someone
do
in
it,
the
the
group
easier.
right now.
No. I don't know. That's
The more
not
you
right.
do it, the easier it
Trolley.
gets. Handcart. The more you do it,
Yes.
the easier it gets. There is a little area that's just becoming coated in rust as it falls into the snow. But after about 2 minutes of doing this, Shay, through the snow, which you guys looking down, there is a secondary storm front below you now. You are up beyond this storm and up into on a normal day, you would be above the clouds. You see at the very, very edge, probably about 60 feet slowly, every time they crank it around, there's this awful and then you see just a little closer and a little closer. It is a wooden platform, sort of laminated wood. There are steel cables that attach it to the top.
Sure.
There are no walls.
Yep.
It is just a wooden platform. You can see elements of broken wood. There were probably at some point, but it just kind of, and every time it goes forward, it,
Yep.
and you guys kind of continue to crank it, and suddenly it emerges into your sight, and it comes right up, leaving maybe a 3-inch gap between just dropping off this cliff and stepping onto this platform. And even as you do, it boom into the edge of the cliff and kind of shakes.
I look over to Gunther. I'm like, well, I mean,
No.
that's a thing that we just did, but so where are we right now in the mountains, Shay? How far are we from where we're trying to go? Is this even the right direction? If we were to head
It's
that
the
way.
Ish direction.
This will lead you north-northeast.
Yeah.
You want to be going northwest at this point, but it's heading. Make a survival check. You are from here, and you know these mountains fairly well, although...
Wait, so we got to the top of this mountain just to get on this death trap?
I'm not getting on it.
I'm not getting on it.
You would know. This does head northeast, and it will lead you to... there's a mountain that is closest to the frost line. This would probably, based on the trajectory of it, lead you close to the peak of it. And you would recognize... You said 19?
Yep.
You would recognize that is going to lead you to a place called... oh, never mind. It's leading you to one of the mountains in a range that does connect to the range that the monastery is on. Maybe only like 2 days travel from the end of that, if it does lead you to that peak. If it leads beyond, you might be able to take it past the frost line and then just walk through that big expanse of just emptiness and just kind of make your way into the mountains and into the monastery. Either way, it's leading you roughly in the direction you want to go. You would recall that there is another path. There's at least 2 more paths that you could take if you would like to backtrack. One of which is only 10 feet behind you.
Yep. Faster, slower, about the same.
For what?
The other paths.
You have no idea.
Right.
Safer? Probably.
Hands down.
I mean, yeah. Because honestly, too, someone
There
would
is
have
this,
to
like-
stay behind and...
Of when on the cart there is another there's a replicant a little bit smaller of that crank.
Okay.
And so you'd imagine it's on the ground where that the steel cable goes through the platform
So
itself.
it's fed through it.
You
Okay.
could probably you can move it from the platform itself. It is for reference.
Oh.
I was gonna paint this, but then I realized I didn't have time.
Okay.
It's about this big. There is in the middle of it right here a crank.
Okay. So, like, that would be...
And as you guys are talking about this death trap, there's a gust of wind, and the whole platform kind of shifts and then bang into the side of this cliff.
I feel like I would just react with that sound and just be like, yeah, let's go the other way. That was a fun workout, Gunter. Fun little... Get the arms moving, but I think we're safer just keeping our feet on solid ground.
I don't want
Right.
to be going through the air again
I'm gonna cautiously.
with a dragon.
No. And I'm going to, like, put my hand on his shoulder just in case.
I'm going to also.
Mending?
I'm trying to mend the broken elements.
What?
Okay. Gunter goes up to the edge, and you can see there are parts of the wood that go up as if there was a wall at one point. Gunter lays his hand on it, and there's this kind of puff where the snow displaces, and there's this kind of bit of blue energy, and the wood kind of straightens a little bit, but there's not a lot of material left for you.
So let's not.
Beyond my power.
Ah, yes. And I look at Amora and I'm just like,
Nope. No, thank you.
I just turn around and I start walking back towards the entrance. Be like, all right, well, let's find another way. Shade, if you could help guide.
You guys turn away from the path, and worth noting, Shay and Heinrich, and Gunter, because you rolled a 19 in your last perception check. As you're turning away, you hear somewhere in the darkness, somewhere in the gray, this faint screech.
This fucking thing.
It's
Where it
so
echoes,
obsessed
it's
with me.
somewhere. And you can hear, and I would say, as the two of them kind of turn and react, you catch onto it, and it sounds, again, like it's looking for something. You guys progress down, and as you do, Heinrich taking the lead, you actually can see into this hole, because you're going down towards it now. There is a glint of metal, about 18 feet down.
So is it just like end?
15 feet down.
So is it just like end? Is it just like a pit, or is it like a whole?
You can't see like the bottom of no. If you come up to the
Yeah,
edge,
like
you can see the bottom.
as we're like slowly going down, I'll like peer in without putting myself in danger, like too close to the edge.
True.
And if I have to, I'll lay on my stomach and do it just out of curiosity.
I mean, if you want to, you can.
No, I don't.
So, let me just get back here. This was from last week. Approaching this sort of hole, you can see it is natural, but natural because elements on the inside caved in. You can see there are wooden beams that run across. You would see from this juncture, about 18 feet down, there are elements of wood in like broken stone that have crumbled in from this hole. Gunter, you recognize this as a continuation of this mine. You guys are far into this mountain. You're beginning to recognize this mine system is probably vast.
Probably built by the giants too.
Given the size of the
This is
caverns,
big.
probably not, actually.
Oh, bigger than giants.
No.
Smaller than
giants.
Yeah, the quick cut mines are significantly more recent than the giants were the second age.
Oh. So these were built after, in the ruins of the giant civilization.
Probably.
Presumably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's what Gunter thinks to himself.
Excellent.
Okay. But it's not like a fall into nothingness kind of thing.
No, you see the floor. It's like broken rock, and it is probably difficult terrain.
Sure.
And looking around it, after about 15 feet, you can see it does flatten out a little bit. Still fairly jagged, and there are elements where you see like actual quartz crystals coming out. You can see a lot more of that mineral. And that glint of metal, as you look down, you can see very, very old, covered in dust, the edges of a pickaxe,
Okay.
reaffirming probably that this
Sure.
is the mine.
Is there any branches or entrances or exits to other tunnels, or is this just like this is just a pit and
Getting
there's
right
nothing?
down and looking through, you can see there is, it's like a room, and there aren't so much paths, but it's very, very broken up dirt where they've like probably found seams of minerals and then gone further that way and then come back. And so it doesn't make a ton of sense, but it appears as if there are quite a few tunnels.
Okay. And they all go off beyond my vision, line of sight.
As far as you can tell, yeah.
And again, so there's the way we just came from, there's the way we originally came from. Are there any other exits that don't go underground, like further?
Yeah, you remember going back further. There's another branch that goes to the left and the right. You guys went right every time. That one also...
But that's going back out and back in?
No, so that's just going back the way you came, back through this snowy ledge, back
Right,
into the
right, yeah,
caves,
back through. That's what I was saying.
and
Yeah.
going back...
But
fairly-
from this chamber, I mean, there's nothing else.
No.
Okay. So this is like a place where the mine like emerged up to the top.
It looks like probably this caved in.
Okay.
What are you guys doing?
It's dark here, so I can't see.
Oh, sorry.
And your hand wraps burst into light.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah, I mean, none of us have any knowledge of this, and I'm thinking about that, like, any references to any of this in that book, that journal that dwarf had.
Do you want to look?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of reach into your bag as everybody considers what to do, and you pull out, I think his name was Dordan's journal.
It was Carver Darkmeld.
You're thinking of the diary.
Oh, yeah.
No, not you. Dord. Oh.
Which
maybe.
which book are you taking out?
Not
The-
the diary. You're talking about the journal from the.
The journal
dead
from the
dwarf.
dead dwarf, not the
From
like,
last
not the
session.
two-way writing
Fair
thing.
enough.
That two-way writing thing is like on my downtime, long rest stuff. I'll fuck with that.
So yes,
Yeah.
in the way that
Carver
they,
Darkmeld diary.
Yeah.
you remember, they traveled up through the quick cut mines. They did mention the idea of being stalked through the plains from Koltaram to here, but you actually would gather probably that was the wyvern or a wyvern. You don't necessarily see anything noting it being dangerous. They do mention there are a lot of areas that are caved in, so probably not terribly sturdy. They also mentioned
God, I wish I took silence as a spell.
there was there were bones down there.
Does it mention what kind and how large?
Dwarven.
Okay. Recent?
The
Wouldn't have, probably.
no, I mean all the entries are dated, so you would know that this
Yeah,
happened.
the entry. But the bones
Oh,
themselves,
yeah.
did they describe the bones and like their age or anything?
The direct description is the bones of poor dwarven souls. So there's no mention to age.
Okay. Now, using that information, could I like hazard a guess that this would lead down the way that these people came up? Is that kind of what I'm gathering?
That's a fair guess, yeah, because you would remember this is this would have been on the other side of that original dip that you had found before you wandered up and into the cavern itself. So they had come past that point. So you would imagine, yes, that would make sense.
Okay.
There's no mention of them taking a hand cranked thing.
Sure.
you know.
Well, of course that, yeah. But they were heading the way that we were coming from originally. Like when we came upon their camp, they were heading like opposite direction.
Yeah, they were trying. They,
Okay.
they were heading towards.
So then
Alberon.
my guess is that this would be the best way to go to get back towards at least
Ultimately-
Holteram, which is sort of in the same direction roughly.
Ultimately, we need to move northwest.
Right. And that would make it easier if we were down on the ground again, since we wouldn't have to adhere to the mountain's twistiness. Right? I mean,
going
right?
to your house, Shay.
Yes.
And this is in that direction.
Northwest. Gunter, do you have a sense enough of the tunnels, or could you get a sense enough of the tunnels to take us northwest?
At least a sense of direction while we're in here.
How do you want to do it?
Is there like a way that I can,
Can you like read the stones in a way that they emerged from the
like,
tectonic plates?
if there's some,
Make a
like,
survival check.
some sort of like
You can
trace minerals?
you can always
that,
try.
Like,
Yeah, sure. Why not? Make a survival check.
Get that 20. Oh, wait. Don't ever forget that. If you're a cleric,
There's
it
this
should just
burst
be
of light
applied.
as he guides himself.
know. That was a survival.
Yep.
That's 10.
You lower yourself down into the cave and you peer around, and there are. You kind of like start counting and you lose count, and so you're not sure if you're double counting
6,
tunnels.
12,
There's 7,
17.
as far as you can tell.
There's
And looking
7.
through, none of them. I mean, there's most of them descend. There's one that seems to ascend back in the direction that you came from. There's one that seems as if it goes straight into the right, and this is like a more straight line shaft. The rest are more tunnels that seem as if, and looking at the seams of quartz, and you know that mineral grows in seams of quartz. Nice. You
If we keep talking,
would
I can't hear.
imagine these are like places where people have carved into veins of ore and probably a pretty mineral rich area. No sense of which way.
Which
leads
one
where.
is the one that leads to like the entrance?
And I would say it actually further concerns you because you know that when hunting these veins of ore, the tunnels can become very irregular. And so you're not. This is Dwarven Dug, and so you're familiar with the techniques, not so much the orientation.
We're gonna have
And
bit
a lot
of a
of,
rough time.
I will say, in a lot of Dwarven mines, there are signs. And so if there was a sign in Dwarvish, there are a number of you who could read it.
There are not. There are not any dwarven signs.
Are there?
That you can see.
Okay.
I'm going to
Well,
start.
These paths probably lead to ore deposits,
Okay.
but I can't tell which one is gonna lead to the entrance to the mine.
Okay.
So
And it's worth noting, from where you can see, you're seeing like 10 feet into some of these tunnels and like less to some. Like you would need to go down to get a good vantage point and actually see into any of these tunnels, really.
All right,
Is this-
I think we should split up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Split the
kidding.
party.
No.
Split the-
No. You're chanting for that? Whoa. Hard mode.
Well, it would only be very briefly. So.
Yeah, that's true.
because we would die.
All right. Well, I don't want to go back outside. Because that thing. And I.
It's just obsessed with me. I don't know. It's just so weird.
Well, you did flirt with that.
Let's.
I know, but as a distract, I'm just so good. I don't know.
What happened? What happened?
No, okay. Let's hold on. And I want to do something. I want to like just wait here for a sec, and I'm going to go back to the entrance of the cave to like get my bearings. Like
Okay.
back to like this
Okay,
entrance
fair enough.
to get my bearings.
Okay, it's gonna be a walk.
Well, how far was it to get to this point?
To get to this point, it was like,
I thought it was like we walked to
15
the corner
minutes.
and then yeah.
yeah. So you walk around and you guys, so it's about half an hour. Go there, go back.
Right,
I'll
to
say,
get my
taking
bearings
that
when I
time,
get there.
And given the fact that you are specifically doing that, you don't need to roll for it. You go back, you orient yourself a
Okay.
little bit, and as you walk, you very, very mindfully keep track of where you're going.
On top of it too, I pull out the map. Wow. I start making a map
Okay.
in my
Sure.
journal with like notes and like rough descriptions of like as best as I can trying to chart this with like how far of a turn, like dramatic turn, not too bad turn, like make directions and
Make
and
a
all that kind of
survival check
stuff.
at advantage.
Because I want to just, if we need to backtrack, at least won't get lost that way. Oh. All right. Better one was a 19 plus, what'd you say, survival?
Yeah.
20. Dirty
Okay.
20.
I would say with a 20.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this dude's journal, like past where he stopped writing.
Okay. So
There's
you
plenty
you
of
yeah.
material. Or
There's
paper.
probably about 50 pages left.
Yeah, yeah.
But turning it over, and it's worth noting, this is nice paper.
Okay.
You would imagine
I'm
would
like,
be considered
oh.
fine parchment.
Cool.
But flipping it through, and you begin to map, and as you do, you begin to use some of these like landmarks, areas where there's certain like the cracked ice and different like elements, and you get a real good map going. I'll give it to you later, actually, if you would like. But you make your way back to the party now, map in hand, and looking down, analyzing some of this. You would imagine the path. There are 3 paths that lead roughly north, although they seem to all wind to the right a little bit. Those are the ones that you imagine would quickly lead you out in the right direction anyways. But I would say, given a 20, there is you're beginning to notice parts of these tunnels. Yes, they're carved by doors, but there are elements where you can see long slashes in the stonework itself. Not made by a pickaxe, certainly. Unclear what made it, but something that definitely catches your eye now.
Cool. I want to not go into those tunnels. That's fine.
Is Heinrich back where we are?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Do we
I'm doing
see
this.
those as well.
I suppose I would be pointing all that out. Yeah.
So yes.
Are
I have no
they-
reason to hide the
Does it
information
look
that they're
like
saying.
it could have been made by the same thing that did the giant
Ice.
like cleft in the ceiling bit?
Certainly it does.
Let's not go that way. Is there any point of access down below?
Yeah. So if you wanted, the ones
Like-
that don't seem to have marks like that, again.
Well,
one
like from
will-
where we are now down into this pit thing, is there like a rope or a
There
ladder?
isn't, but the hole itself, again, only, I think it was 16 feet wide. Yeah, only 16 feet wide. So you're 15 feet wide. So you can probably, I'll say, given like the broken nature of the stone, fairly easily could get handholds. There's like a 10-foot drop at the end for all of you. Very, very easy. Significantly less than the drops that you've taken in the past.
Yes.
How deep is it total?
From where we're standing down to the
Yeah.
floor of this hole or cave in.
Where did I put this? Quick cut lines. No, you have your light on. Yeah, no problem. Probably about 35 feet. It's not a terribly deep hole.
I mean, I'll
Jump
get
down.
yeah. I'll get the
As you're kind of like looking down, you're starting to look, and you're like are feeling for handholds. All of a sudden, Shay just
Shay,
you don't hear any
Don't.
landing.
Yeah.
Shay, you land very softly on this difficult terrain.
And I see that down there because obviously she's lit too
Yeah.
as well.
And as the light takes this place, you can see quite a bit more. There are only 6 paths, one of which is a fairly intact mine sort of path that leads in. You can see elements of wood laid into the ground, maybe like a track of some kind.
Sure.
For you would notice now in this path there is a skull about the size of a dwarf, very old, yellowed, weathered. You can see elements that are kind of eroded at the bottom, and again, when all this ice melts, probably creates water flow through here, and this has been here for a long time. The bone itself is beginning to erode. Looking around, you can see now there are these slashes, 6-7 feet long. They actually would span the entire width of some of these tunnels. You can see just elements of it just kind of on either end. And now looking at the way these rocks are broken, it's like almost like a really inelegant attempt at mining. And where you were sort of imagining danger, you're now getting a little bit of a sense, looking around and looking at parts that are missing. Probably not like a fight that happened here, but really unclear what's going on. There's more questions than answers. You also notice passive 18.
Yep.
Very frightened, and in this wedged into the corner, you see I don't know if you've ever seen these Norwegian sort of snowcats, these big fluffy ones, like pressed all the way back, sort of cream white fur, a little bit dirty at the bottom, like big eyes, hair standing up, tail poofed out behind it. It's just all the way back, just its eyes gleaming out at you, reflecting your light emitting handbands.
Morwen!
Yes.
I need your help.
Okay. I don't think I can do this jump as elegantly
I mean, you
as she
can.
can.
You'd get hurt.
One of these guys.
Yes.
Let me see.
A little bit more gray.
Wait,
and
can I see?
bits of cream into the edge of the fur. It's a floof.
A floof.
It's a floof.
Your face.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm gonna just start hammering a python and tying the rope
Well,
off.
I guess I
I'm in
didn't
here.
technically ever take my rope off, so I. And.
So this whole time,
Hi.
Morgan's been just dragging 50 feet of rope behind
90.
her. It's like 90
90.
feet. It
What?
snags on rocks, and like Morgan has to keep going back to like unhook it on things. But yes, so yes, you still have a rope tied
It's a
around.
cruel
I hand it
prank
to
you
you?
played on yourself. And I finished doing that. I'm like, Gunter, give me a hand tying this off here.
Wait, my
Got
rope?
this, guys.
Oh,
Wait,
fine, I'll do it
my
myself.
rope?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the
I
pipe.
better get this back. It's 90 feet of rope here. You don't get that long of a rope. What do you?
Well, it's more that you can.
You kind of look at this rope, and it's just a couple ropes tied together.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can just untie the bits that you need from the bottom. once
Yeah,
they're
but they're
down there.
both mine.
That's fine. You can keep them.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go and grab the rope, mend. Now it's one.
No, that's
doesn't
not how
work
it
like that,
works.
Unfortunately, I love the idea.
That's a spell called Fuse, which is in Unearthed Arcana.
Well, if it
You
was,
put two objects next to each other and they become one somehow.
If it
That's a
was cut-
horrible
if
potential.
it was the same rope that had been cut,
It is
universal
not.
glue, so or
then I
permanent glue, or
could.
whatever.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah,
gonna tie it
the-
together.
Okay.
Yeah.
You tie it together, and you
Like-
feel, you feel fairly confident that, especially given Morwen's agility, you probably have no problem getting
Yeah.
down.
All of us.
Gunter might have some trouble, but
Sure.
average amount of
I
trouble.
mean,
for you.
he'll go
Wait, did he
last and
tie
I'll
the
go
knot?
above
I'll
him.
be fine.
All right. Being at sea and stuff, I'm gonna
I
double
gotta
check
get
it.
my mojo
Well, I
back
can tell you right
somehow.
now, like the roll that I did for it, if you want to hear.
You don't need to roll for this. The two of you have spent time in ports or
Yep.
at sea. Both of you are very familiar with knots.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing it under duress or in a quick time.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. You tie off a great knot. What would you like to do?
I'll slowly lower myself.
Okay. You lower yourself, kind of emerging into the light that is cast by Shay, and immediately your eye is drawn to this cat, kind of in this dugout, maybe about a foot deep, little kind of pressed in. And as it sees you, it kind of like an animal handling check. Make it at advantage because you are a cat.
Wait, what kind of cat? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter.
It's
I
a
don't know.
floof.
It's a 1 and a 2.
Oh,
Kind of get close, and as you grin,
Wait,
so
wait,
excited.
wait. No, you stop. It's a
Sure.
3. You stop that.
You are bonded for life. And you get a little bit closer, and as you smile, so excited to see this creature. It's just this mouth full of just gleaming teeth. You're
Total
a
misread,
5 foot
total
tall
misread.
cat, and this thing hisses, sprints past you. It's going to try to slash at you as it goes by.
Wait, we can chase it out to safety though.
That is going to be that's a 13 to hit. So it just swipes out at you and then just takes off, booking it down the central path.
Opportunity pet.
Make an attack roll.
Huh?
Make an attack roll.
To
It's
pet
a
it.
pet.
I know.
Okay.
But to
Non-lethal
connect or not.
petting.
Yeah, it's to be able to catch it as it goes. So
Oh, I don't want. No.
you're not catching it. It's to like just reach out and pet it as it goes.
No,
by.
I might
gonna
turn
make
around
one.
and spook it more. No.
So it runs out.
Well, that's the
down
way to go for
the middle
sure.
path.
That was gonna be my choice. Look at that.
I
mean,
still
we're-
up
I'm-
at the top.
I mean,
right?
I figured
I'm
we were
sure it
both
makes
coming down at
prints.
this point too.
Okay,
I will
so
go before,
I'm
just in
gonna be
case he
like-
falls.
I'm like,
Just in case he falls.
Don't worry,
Okay,
I
yeah,
got
no,
this. I
tell-
gotta get my mojo
No,
back
why don't you,
somehow.
I
I'm gonna do
want-
a couple stretches.
Guys, I
and
want
hands
all
go
of
to
my
cat's
rope.
place again.
Can he untie my rope and we can just catch him?
I've got this. Don't you worry. I'm gonna go down. You said it was like 35 feet.
Well, I guess he goes
I'm
down
gonna go
before
down
me.
like
No, you said you went down.
16 feet,
Okay.
and
This
then I'm
last.
just gonna be like, check this out. I'm gonna backflip off of the rest of the wall and spin to land.
What?
Make an acrobatics check.
You're
No,
pulling a
At
Morwen.
advantage.
Cat's grace.
Oh, you have Cat's Grace still on. Okay. Well, this is
Does
gonna
he though?
happen.
It only lasts for an hour, and it took.
I
You just cast it again.
recast
Oh, okay.
That is a 15.
Flat 15.
15?
You watch as Gunter goes down, and you hear like the a very what makes all of you nervous. This Gunter chuckle. Just watch this, and he jumps back, and you kind of start doing a backflip, and you immediately realize it's not going to happen, and you kind of and right yourself, and you land, and it ends up being a superhero landing, which looks fairly cool. Your knee fucking hurts. You feel this loud, and like it slips out of the socket, and as you like stumble and step, it pops itself back into place. You don't take any damage, but it's not terribly pleasant.
Still got it.
I want my rope.
Well, since he went and did that, I'll just like
Which one of y'all got mage hand?
I'll fucking do that. I got
Right.
Mage Hand.
Morwen doesn't know what mage hand is.
But
I
I
know,
was going to
but
do
Allie
that.
does.
Okay.
Yes.
So you.
So I'm gonna get all the way down, and then I'm gonna Mage Hand untie.
So
Whoa, what's that?
you've seen it once before.
When I shut Gunter up from a distance,
Accidental.
it was like,
Heinrich kind of reaches towards it. His hand seems to almost stretch and extend, and this ghostly tendril with a hand at the end of it, almost like one of those slappy stretch hands, kind of drifts out and grasps the rope, and slowly the ghostly fingers work before the rope just falls down and coils.
What do you call that trick?
Untying a rope.
don't know.
I didn't ask you.
I don't care.
Handsy. I'm calling him Handsy. I'm not calling him that. I don't fucking know.
All
It's,
right,
it's
mage
a hand.
hand is now handsy.
So
It's
at
not.
this moment, you are all sitting underground within some element of the quick cut mines. What do you want to do?
Follow
Go
the
up,
kitty.
Be like that. Yeah. Where did the cat go?
We follow the kitty.
Right there.
Okay.
Not that one.
Right here.
But like
Well,
again,
there's still snow, so I'm sure there's prints too, right? No?
Yeah,
No.
there's not snow down here, but because of the sediment that has fallen, the crumbling rock that in areas is almost sand, you're seeing imprints. What I'm going to say though is, as you progress, if you're still trying to track this cat, make a survival check.
Am I leading the way here?
So far, for what it's worth, there hasn't been any place where the cave splits off. So at the moment, you can feel fairly confident that you're following the same path. You guys walk, or who's leading the way?
I don't think, in
I
all
feel
fairness,
like-
I don't think I would be leading the way. I usually take up the rear.
yeah.
Unless you're way ahead.
I think probably both of us,
Awesome
so I can
showboating.
keep relighting the
Okay.
wraps just to make
I
sure.
suppose I'll go first.
Just
Okay.
before
Yeah, like-
I make a check,
Kinda
I don't
like-
think I'm the one to
Don't
follow
leave me
here.
again.
No, we
1,
wouldn't
2,
leave you.
3, 4.
Yeah, more or less.
Fair enough.
And if it can be like side by side walking parallel, just so that I
Yeah,
can keep.
there are areas where you can do that. There are areas where you have to kind of string out, but for the most part, you can stay in that formation. You walk 70 feet, 80 feet, and you reach a point where, again, it begins to open up. Although you can see almost across the entrance, there is like a huge piece of broken timber. Beyond that, there's a much larger room, and Gunter, immediately you can pick out that there are a row of mine carts within this room. You can see they seem to be stored here. There's a couple pickaxes just littering the ground. From this distance, you can't see into any of them. I would say all of you can see in the middle of this room elements of a skeleton. Definitely dwarven. There's armor on this one. Not armor that any of you would recognize. Although still bone, very old. Armor, not magical. You can see elements of rust and corrosion. There are places that have actually completely eaten away, and you can actually see into the skeleton itself. What do you all want to do?
Out of the mines.
I mean, first look for points of entry and exit, other areas,
Okay.
while also looking for any movement or danger.
Make a perception check.
Are we gonna be here a while?
Never mind, Gunter just spoke. As you begin to start looking around and Gunter speaks, there is this moment where you hear, and you look out and you see a gleam of brass in this darkness reflected off of the light shed by Shay's glowing wristbands. And because it is 10:30, we'll take a quick break. So 10:24, real quick before we go to break, we're going to take like a 10-15 minute break. But a couple of quick things with Campfire's Quests raid and the addition of, thank you for following along, Finneman's eBay 333, the
Nice.
last Omnitech King Cobra JFS 420 underscore
Yeah, we know
underscore
King
Yeah.
Cobra.
69.
Nice.
Thank you guys all very
What up?
much for following along in the adventure. Really, really cool that we have so many people showing up every week now. It's awesome to see. I saw Crixman, I saw Puginator, I saw Talon always. A lot of people showing up. awesome to see all of you guys. You guys are really what makes this happen. We'll see what's coming up, but we're moving towards a lot of 3D terrain that is sponsored by you. So awesome stuff. We'll be back.
Keep telling Allie to shout out things because that parachute was kind of funny.
Yeah, but we were talking to, like, it would have been better if I had Jenko jeans on.
It is
Yep.
10:25. We'll be back at 10:40. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. Glad to see you after the break. It's always tough coming back
For many reasons.
for a whole bunch of reasons. Really just one reason, honestly.
Because we should.
So quick
Because
update
of the
before we jump
choice.
back into this game. We're at 197 followers.
Oh, shit.
So when we get to 200 followers,
Three more.
when we get 3 more followers, we're going to do a giveaway for the players. So that will unlock the week after, because I obviously didn't bring it with me because I didn't think we would get to 200 tonight. But in addition, we're going to give away one of the brand new Adventure in Alberon limited edition artist series of shirts. It is the first in this series, created by Jesse Hoyt. This is a very kind of like, how would you describe that shirt? I mean, it's like a super bright,
It's like
vibrant,
mildly psychedelic.
yeah, mildly
Looks like an
psychedelic.
Of Montreal album cover.
Sure, yeah. And it's like the psychedelic, aquatic themed, beautiful Alberon RPG shirt. It's going to be available until the next in the series comes out, which is already underway. So when that comes out, the shirt will be gone, and it will be gone for good. When we get to 200 followers, we're going to give one of those away the way that we do during break for the following episode. So definitely tune in. So with that out of the way, Heinrich, you had just seen this glint of metal and the sudden kind of sound, and it's some kind of brass. And then very quickly, you hear these little metallic feet
More clockwork
off to
assholes.
the right. You don't hear gears. You don't hear clockwork necessarily.
Okay.
What do you all want to do?
Oh, it doesn't come after?
It ran on somewhere. I mean, so again, big piece of timber. You can see into this room, rows of mine carts, and it seemed to just turn in out of your vision to the right.
Did anyone else see that?
I think I'm getting up,
Did anyone else see that?
falling.
I-
doing my.
Sure.
Did anyone else see
know.
that?
I mean, I'm last
Let's see what.
in this line.
I would say Shay probably sees that.
And that would be it?
Yeah, because
Okay.
you guys are in front.
Like, Gunter, shh. And message be like, actually, shh, there's someone up there. Something's moving up ahead.
A little unnerving because you hear both of these at once. One is in your mind and one is not. You hear Heinrich's voice, but you see just shh.
I'm gonna.
Hold on. There's something up ahead. Just hold on.
I'm gonna ready my guiding bolt. Not to cast it, but if there's a
So you're going to
hostile,
hold your hand out.
Yes, holding my hand out, so that if a hostile creature comes at us, I can
Come in.
unleash before it reaches us.
Okay.
Okay, well, do I have
doing?
anything to throw? Forward.
You know, on guard.
I guess I would just kind of like poke my head in.
Okay, you kind of go underneath this piece of timber that lies diagonally across the entrance.
Yeah.
And as you peer your head in, you do see there's a tunnel that goes to the right. Very regimented tunnel. This is a rectangular tunnel, 10 feet high, about 15 feet wide.
Does it stand out as newer than everything else?
It stands out as not there. So the terrain has been rocky and
Oh,
just,
yeah,
just
yeah. I
that
get
does
that
not
already.
exist within this tunnel.
Okay, so maintained as well. Maybe.
From this distance, it would be hard to tell why,
Right, but
but
that's
you
the
can see that it
immediate
is a
reaction.
very clean looking tunnel. That whatever it was seemed to vanish in that direction.
Okay. Now, is there anything else in the room?
Yeah, in front of you, you can see that there are these 7 mine carts, and although most of them are empty, they're kind of set down from where you are on this sort of dugout path, which you would imagine at some point tracks probably existed. You can see into these, and there is one that is laden with a number of different rocks and things. You would recognize at this point, because Gunter pointed it out, it's a whole bunch of that ore. You also see there is a dugout area a little bit to the left, and you can see within that. Make a perception check.
17. Fuck yeah.
You can see within this dugout pit, very, very neatly severed, a skeletal dwarven hand. You can see like the bone clean, almost laser cut. And you can see like the inside of the bone where it would be hollow, where the marrow has run out. You see nothing else. And actually, you would see on this a little bit cleaner than the rest that you've been in so far, on the ground there are elements of dried blood.
Okay.
Old.
Sure. Any sign of the cat?
Make a perception check.
Again? I just did.
You just did.
17.
Fair enough. 17. You do not see.
I'm going to save that. No sign of the cat.
I'm gonna
Turn back and like, there's no cat in here, but there was something else.
be like, guidance. I'm just gonna like
Okay.
right up there.
You feel
Okay.
like he gets underneath the timber and still like his head kind of
Yeah.
craned to the side. Guidance.
All right. I'll be
Looks
like,
at you
well,
with just one eye and not both.
I mean, his eyes are never in the right direction. So.
Yeah. I guess I'll be like, all right, guys, come on in cautiously, and then I'll, to whoever comes in, point out that direction.
Who's going in?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go snack.
Morwen, make a stealth check.
I'm gonna go in, but I'm also going to cast Find Traps.
Okay. That's 100 feet.
120 feet, and I'm gonna
120 feet.
cast it like as I get into the room.
Sure. It encompasses the entire room. The room itself only goes about 90 feet in total. So easily you see, and you guys don't see this, but for you, there is this almost like wave of blue that passes out. And as it passes over things, you can see like jagged parts in the rocks revealed. It's almost like a radar that just waves out. And as it goes through, you do not see any traps.
Good.
Okay.
Are we all good in here?
26, by the way.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like keep kind of pushing you in as I.
And as
Okay.
you kind of open your eyes for that, you look around, you kind of push Heinrich ahead. Shay's already going in, and you go to push Morwen. She's gone.
You know, wait. We're in the room with the carts.
Yep.
I want to peek in the carts.
Okay. You can see from the doorway into the carts, and they're mostly empty with the exception of one that does have lumps of rock in it. These rocks have some little white and kind of grayish bits, but you do not know what they are. So you walk about 20 feet over to the second cart, and you just kind of poke in, and it's a rock.
Is there a little tiny chunk, like a little crumb?
Yeah, there's like, well, if you kind of get past the big parts, the whole bottom is just filled with little bits that have fallen apart.
I take a small handful of little bits.
You can add a handful of
Little bits?
acanthite. Well, to be fair, it's a real mineral, and all of that is real.
Right, yeah.
I just don't remember acanthite.
Yeah.
So, you can add a handful of acanthite. It is like a quarter of a pound.
I want to turn to Gunter and be like, so Gunter, these carts end here but go somewhere else. Does that, in your knowledge of dwarven mines, usually mean like an exit that these would end at?
I mean, they all go somewhere, right?
Right. But
I don't know which one
Should
it
we-
is.
yeah. Probably the one that follows the one that had shit still in it. Yeah? Maybe. That's my thought.
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Not necessarily, because it could have been brought up from a deeper part and brought here to go out.
But the out is like further from the base of the mountain though, right? Wouldn't doors be, well, if we have to pick one.
Dwarves are funny creatures.
Yeah, you don't say.
Well,
If we have to pick one, that's my vote. Is the one that like it was loaded from the area we just were to be sent back to wherever to refine or process.
And as Heinrich says this, looking around, that makes a lot of sense.
I've also been keeping up on the map
Yep.
this whole time.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm assuming that you're doing
Yeah,
that as
exactly.
you go.
Like when we travel and stuff. Now the other thing is, do we care to investigate small titter-tatter creatures that went down that very
Absolutely not.
bizarre clean-cut hallway? Because good, I didn't either. I didn't want to either.
That is the way that you'll need to go if you're going to follow this cart.
Oh, it goes through that.
It seems to.
Oh, I thought that they were going like this way, and then that way was just like an entrance.
The only exit to this room, aside from the one that you came out of, that you can see, is that very clean-cut thing.
So these minecarts all go through there too.
They're kind of set up, so imagine they're set up like as if you can pull them in and then kind of continue to pull them in, like a shopping cart return.
Sure.
This is the one that is second furthest out. It is the easiest one to get into the path. The first one is beyond that path. So it seems like maybe that one was on the way out to get loaded up. This one, if you pushed and just continued, it would go right up and then through the path, the very clean-cut area.
Okay. Which to me would be the return, based on my description. Because
Yes.
I'm having a little trouble visualizing
Yeah.
it, but okay. I relay that idea to everyone and say, if this thing was on its way out,
Should
as
we-
it was just loaded up, let's follow
Should we
where
move
it goes.
This is just for visual reference.
Uh-huh.
It's not the scale.
Yeah. Okay.
We are.
Remains of tracks, remains of tracks, remains of tracks, remains of tracks. First cart, second cart.
Oh, and they're facing that way. I see. Well, they
They're-
could be.
They're
but-
square carts. So difficult to tell facing, but based on the wheels, it's either forward or backwards down that path.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Okay. Is there anything else in this room of note? Maybe things to collect and gather, like boxes, crates, chests, and etc.
You don't see any boxes.
Okay.
Very interestingly, you don't see any crates.
Okay, so
You do
this is
see there's
definitely
like
drop-off
3 or
point.
4 pickaxes that are kind of leaned off in a corner. You again can see that there is this kind of like severed hand.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you could pick that up if you want.
Can I investigate around it
Sure, make an investigation check.
and see if I can deduce what the fuck happened here? Investigation 19.
As you kind of like poke the hand over and sort of look, and the hand rolls and actually falls apart, the bones separating, not held by anything other than just that's where it probably came to rest. And as you move it, the bones just scatter. There is within it a silver coin.
In the hand that it was holding?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not any form of silver that you're familiar with. And as you look, there are these weird marks that suddenly begin to shift and turn from dwarvish to common.
Mm-hmm. And it reads.
There is a date on this, first of all.
Uh-huh.
It is 971 TA, third
Okay.
age. So this was minted roughly
Like 400 years ago?
500
500?
and change. This is an old coin. This
Yeah.
predates the kingdom of Sarentil. This predates Fort Quinn. You have no idea. However,
Yeah.
at the top, you
Gunter
would
is not near
see-
me, so he cannot see this.
On your shoulder.
No, you're not.
He
You're
actually
not.
On
he
your shoulder.
cannot.
Well,
Yes,
Well, then
he is.
I mean, as I'm reading this, I pocket
I've been
it.
giving
Tell me
you
all the things are
guidance
as I pocket
the
it.
whole
Okay.
time.
So as you pocket
Well, I
it,
didn't get guidance on that last one.
Oh, well, you should have.
You didn't tell
When
me
I
that.
hear the bones rustle, I'm looking too.
I'm going to say Heinrich puts it away a little too quick for that.
Thank you.
No, I just
Fuck.
want to see it. I don't care to take it.
Stop stealing shit from each other.
It reads property of the Cold Forge.
Okay. Deducing all this information, it's probably from nearby here. Because Cold Forge and this cold mineral and where we are and everything and blah, blah, blah. Cool. Noted.
Okay.
Cold Forge, 900 something TA. That's
971 TA.
971 TA. If
Are you
that,
saying anything out loud?
no. I've learned my lesson.
Make a perception check at disadvantage.
Cold Forge,
Yeah,
1 word, 2 words, 1 word.
That's
2 words.
Damn it.
a 20. 30.
As Heinrich
I'll
tucks
relay
this
the
away, and it's
information,
literally
but not the coin.
The bones crumble apart
It's fine, I just
before
know
the coin
currency.
even rolls. Heinrich has it in his hands and it's moving. You catch the word Cold Forge. You don't catch the date or anything. Make a history check.
Well, I would relay the information.
Oh, you're relaying the information?
Oh, yeah.
Never mind.
But I'm not
To
going to give him the
everyone?
fucking coin.
Gunter, don't roll.
The coin
You've
is,
heard
the
of
coin's
the
in my
Cold
pocket, but I'm telling you about. There's a Cold Forge around here or something.
Are you telling everyone?
In a low voice.
Well, I guess you don't see me, but you're saying it.
You would
Can
hear
I
it
hear
to
it?
Gunter. If you're wherever you want to be, you would probably be within earshot, right?
I
So-
was at the second cart grabbing
You're in earshot.
crumbs.
You don't see this, however. You see the bones scatter on the ground. You don't see a piece. You relaying the information, however. Gunter, the Cold Forge is something that every dwarf has heard about.
Of course.
There were originally 5 dwarven citadels, and there was plans for a 6th. It was going to spread out around this enchanted flame that seemed to flow from somewhere deep beneath the earth, and it was, for a time, a very small city. Originally, it was a 15-layered forge, using this fire up, which would then spill out into individual small pools that could be used to smelt magic. There are all kinds of legends. What did you roll?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Wait, on the perception?
This is on history.
Oh, okay. Let me roll that. Then.
Okay.
That is a 13.
Okay. Okay. You do know about the Cold Forge. You know, theoretically, of legend, and this is like legend. This is like stuff that Gunter would know because of how long you've lived. Actually, some of these are not accurate facts. But there is this, the most prominent legend about it is deep within, the very bottom of the Cold Forge. There was a forge that was rumored to produce magical items of an unfathomable quality. There is an item related to this called the Forge Key. The Forge Key is either a sword or a polearm. There are conflicting reports about it, but the Forge Key is the first thing that was created within this magical place. It is a legendary place in the same way that Atlantis is a legendary place. As far as you know, there is no evidence of it existing. But Heinrich holds
Except
the
for
coin.
that.
I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a very interesting coin. And then as we continue, I'm going to relay all of that information
Mhm.
to him. I'm gonna hype it up, really, like,
How?
make it sound like the biggest legend.
Yeah.
This forge,
Yeah?
you could get a lot of good stuff from that.
Yeah.
If this is where it is, this is like finding, you know, the Holy Grail of
Oh.
grail.
Stuff. You mean the place that the Holy Grail was made kind of thing?
Would you like a very famous artifact that everybody in Alberon would know that can
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Let's do that.
Grail?
Oh, you mean like the chain thing that I read about in that book?
The chain.
No, there's a thing
Gunter,
for
roll,
us.
roll a
That
roll,
chain
roll a
that
100-sided dice.
Bernal
Roll a
took?
2d10.
The what?
Yeah.
That chain that Bernal took?
Not that chain, no.
That's a 10 and a 2.
12.
12.
Okay. Oh, I don't really need that then. With a 12, one of the most famous items that has ever. There are countless legends, artistic depictions, there are replications. This is one of those things that, like the Turin Shroud,
It's like fucking Excalibur. kind of
it
shit.
shows up in auctions frequently, and it's never the real thing. It's something that exists much like King Arthur's sword, like Excalibur, like the Soul Edge. It's something that you know.
Banksy art.
I
Sorry.
don't
No.
really, I
No.
don't really know what that is. But you,
Is it sharks? I don't know. Good try. Good job.
What's the name?
sorry,
What's the name of it?
of which?
The legendary artifact.
Oh, sorry, it's the World Breaker.
Ah. Oh shit.
It is. It's big.
It's big.
I mean, this place does feel old and lost, so that makes sense. Can't imagine
This
it.
is
A
where
lot of
these
things
things
that are
are.
lost in these mountains.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I'd really
We
like
have a
to go
goal.
Check those out.
I mean, we have a goal, and we should probably try to stay safe. But if it looks like we're nearby it, I mean,
I'm gonna like.
I can't say
really-
extra protection wouldn't be a bad idea, but we do have a way to go.
I'm really like getting. I'm
Animated?
really trying to hold it in, but
Okay.
I'm like, this is like big stuff, and I'm gonna locate object,
Sure.
and I'm just gonna like think about the forge key and the world. I guess
Using all of the information that you have available to you, as you cast locate object, nothing bleeps within 300 feet.
it's I think 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 feet.
Nothing bleeps.
With no information to go on. Yeah. You're right there, Gunter.
Yeah, we just.
Well,
Those
you
are
can
really-
keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep an eye out for trouble. I'll just be like, let's just indulge him. I mean, this is
All right, I am now
best we can do.
hyper-focused
Maybe
on
maybe
finding
he'll
the way
be more quiet
around
because he's
here.
focused.
because I'm thinking like this could be. the
Just got to
place.
keep an eye out.
Okay. Make. I will say,
And we're not moving yet.
you would know enough just looking around at these. I mean, make an investigation check. Guidance.
Not gonna help much. Okay, that's a 12.
All that you can really tell, I mean, you know that this is at least the rumors of this place. It's a deep, deep civilization dug into the earth. Based on where you are within this mountain, doesn't make a ton of sense. You also know the Cold Forge should rise above the ground. It would be difficult to match this place. There is probably an element of Gunter that wants it to be the place, but I would say something deep down tells you it's not. As in, nothing about it makes sense, aside from the fact that there is a abundance of silver ore. Not mentioned in any of the tales, but it is, a valuable metal.
Okay. I'm gonna... Alright. Okay, I got ahead of myself.
Okay. I mean, hey, maybe there's more clues to this legendary place that we can find. I mean, that coin alone is already weird, and who knows if this place traded with that or...
Take a closer look at
Nope.
that.
I know you too well by now, Gunter. Safekeeping. Don't
They
worry
have
about
titans around the coin.
it. Yeah, it's like I have like pocket sand fist going on. Well, if this is the only way to go, we got to keep moving. What time is it? How tired are we?
At this point, not terribly tired. There's no light.
tired.
There's no visual reference. If somebody wants to make an intelligence check, they can to try to figure it out. But
I mean, based on the map stuff, like.
I'll say, you know what? You did run out and you got to see daylight that last time.
Yeah.
And then you guys went up to the cliff. I would say you guys know it's somewhere between, without making any roll, somewhere between like 5 and 8 o'clock.
So we're good until we start feeling it.
How long has it been since we've docked? Like, how long
How many
is this
days,
whole
this whole
thing?
journey?
Yeah.
So at the beginning of tonight, you guys were at the 18th of Deep Winter. It has been since you docked. I want to say you guys are. I have it written down, but I want to say you guys have been here for all. No, I know exactly how long. 5 days, because you guys got there on a Saturday.
Weird.
The Alberon equivalent. It was too complicated to try to like make Saturdays and Sundays and all that crap. We have months. We have
They
all that
blend
stuff.
anyway.
They do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use Monday through Friday, that kind of thing, just because
Morning das.
Yeah.
Tier das.
easy. Not doing that. Mostly because I don't want to
Oh,
deal with
we
it.
paid off like 2 months anyway.
And we
It's not really
we
relevant,
have them
but I was
there
just
keeping
wondering.
up.
It just
yeah.
reminded me.
So-
We have them there keeping track of shit.
Finger game.
It's my crew, so I need
What
to
do you
make
guys
sure.
want to do?
Slowly proceed, cautiously keeping an eye out for stuff and being like, Marwin, wherever you are, I hope you're still following
Still
us.
smoke.
You revealed yourself when you went to talk to them. So
I didn't talk to them.
No.
I was just eavesdropping.
Okay, fair enough. You guys.
I
have
wanted
no
to
idea
see
where
the
Marvel
coin.
is. I would say you
But-
guys know that she's around
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she does this.
It's almost beginning to feel comforting. Yeah, it's almost in a way comforting to be like, if we get in trouble, they don't know she's there too.
Sure.
So it's like, I'm more in favor of you doing this now than annoyed by it.
Along with Shay and Heinrich, keeping an eye out for any other things related to the Cold Forge
Okay.
or the possible whereabouts.
And I bring up the rear, and I'm thinking the same thing because I want.
You guys progress. Make a stealth check, everybody, except for you. You've already done it.
Please roll high. Damn it. Damn it. Another 7.
19.
Okay.
16?
16.
Wow.
As a group, you move fairly quietly. There are times where Heinrich, with the scale armor, will stumble over like little bits of broken rock. This is by far, though, a much cleaner tunnel.
Scrape into the wall or something.
It's not terribly loud. You make a little noise, but the others traveling very quietly, Morwen nowhere to be seen, but you imagine she's nearby.
I'm just like so focused that I'm not talking.
As a group, you go pretty quietly. Who is in the lead? You have the option of being in the lead if you want, because nobody knows where you
No,
are.
rear.
Okay.
Always.
Probably me.
Yeah. And then me right behind. Same way that we headed into this
Okay.
room.
Shay, you were traveling very quietly, and every now and then you never hear your own footsteps, but you can hear Heinrich behind you, and every now and then you hear like a little Gunter noise.
little bone scrape.
Yeah, but this tunnel begins to kind of twist down, and it's not ever like becoming a spiral, but it seems to go to the left and meander to the right, and then straighten out and go a little steeper. And suddenly you arrive at an area where it opens up. But that's a really difficult word to use because you can see just where before there were just like ice things that kind of melded and split and came together. Tunnels. As far as you can see, going to the left, going straight ahead, going to the right. Because you are traveling so quietly on the left, you spot a very odd looking creature. It is crouched over a little bit and is looking in your direction, has not spotted you yet, has not spotted anybody yet as you arrive. Round, seemingly brass, and you can see behind it there are these kind of lines where as it kind of crouches and you can hear this little sort of metallic-y voice, and you hear just it. And it seems to be kind of getting ready. The little lines out from its back flutter, and you see wings. Long, not terribly long, but these metallic legs that are a little bit spindly looking. And it seems to be waiting. And as you notice this, Heinrich bumps into you. You stumble forward, and you kind of see the eye open, and it's this one large, very organic-looking eye that just blinks twice, and then you just hear, and it runs down the leftmost path.
Showing us away.
I don't know.
What's going on?
There was one of the things again.
See over your...
I mean, do we
Potentially the same one.
probably do
You
we
climb up and look between his antlers.
like
Or horns, not antlers.
Make a
their
perception.
antlers?
Make a perception check.
Me?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're looking at me. Okay.
Try to use my nonverbal skills, you know.
That's a 12.
Okay.
Pass
Peek
a
through the
14.
antlers. You
What?
peek through the antlers and you look around. You can
Oh, no,
see.
I'm not saying I do.
Oh.
No, I was making a joke that he does when
Oh.
he's trying to peer around.
Then never mind. We're
Oh,
fine.
yeah, sorry.
So,
I thought you meant
You
'cause
weren't
something
doing
was
that?
behind me. so
I thought you
that's-
were doing that.
yeah, me too.
I'm just scooting over.
Okay, well that
No,
was
I
incredibly
was,
confusing.
No, I meant, I was,
Anyways, back to it.
sorry.
Looking
I,
down.
Do we follow it? Is that wise? I mean, I can't even tell its intentions, but it looked.
follow what?
The little little metallic creature, blinking eye. It was just here. We lost track of the cat, as far as I can tell, unless you guys are. Well, I look over and I'm like, right, Marvin's not there. No, very different.
You've been keeping track. What direction are we heading? Can you tell?
At this moment, best you can tell, which is you're fairly confident in it. This, the way that it went is due west. You guys have been heading north, but it twists like northwest, northeast. At
Sure.
one point, it went all the way around, but you're pretty confident that would go west. You can continue to travel north. There's even a path that seems to go due northwest. You get the sense that some of these are going to connect back together. This is a weird area.
Weird in what way?
Whereas before you've seen straight mine shafts and kind of these weird honeycomb sort of sections, this is almost, it feels purposefully maze-like.
Okay. And I relay that. Seems like we're in some sort of labyrinthian
Do I
defense
know
almost.
Of any legends about that kind
You
of-
know where you are. You know that you're in the Quick Cut Mines.
Okay.
This is not a dwarven design. And even as you enter in, thinking about that, excuse me, you look up and you notice the ceilings here are about 15 feet high. For a dwarven mine, that's not how you design it. And looking now at the rock work, make one of your stone cutting checks.
That's a 19.
Bless.
Because of sneaking and because because Heinrich was making a fair amount of noise and was distracting you a little bit. You didn't notice this, but where this ends, that timber, the rock transitions a little bit, and this is not. You're not seeing a lot of that mineral. This is probably not part of the Quick Cut Mines, and you're beginning to realize more and more. There's not a lot of evidence of dwarven handiwork here. I mean, while fairly clean cut, they're not like dwarven stoneworking. You're not seeing elements that to most people look like just raw rock. They're actually like really very carefully reproduced looking raw rock to make this what would be like a straight mine shaft look as if it's just kind of like worked. This is different.
You remember the Cortega place? The temple
That's
there?
just what I was thinking. Do we just walk into a different...
Yeah.
Is there any way to like double check backtracking to see if it transitions back into where we were? Was it abrupt?
Yeah.
Like this
And
room
so
is
now
abruptly
You
different?
relayed that, right?
Yeah.
This
now
room is
turning-
abruptly different.
Yeah, now
Okay.
turning and looking, even so where you were standing, like right beyond that timber,
Mm-hmm.
where that timber is anchored in, you can see elements of the stone still attached.
Uh-huh.
The tunnel that you came from.
Uh-huh.
As soon as you get beyond, there are parts that are still like that kind of grayish mineral, but a lot of it is not. A lot of it is this kind of reddish orangish rock.
Would I know what that reddish one is?
What was your stone cutting check?
19?
Yeah, sure. I don't have it in front of me. That's deep lore. It begins with an A. I think it's Andersonite, but that seems too on the nose. It begins with an
Andesite?
Okay.
something like
I
that.
think
It looks
in the
kind of like
email.
sandstone,
I think
but
it's
it's not.
andesite. I'm
Something like that.
If it's based on a real
It is
stone.
everything so far in terms of minerals is based on
Right,
redstone.
because like fuck that. Fuck doing all of that again for yeah. Better to pull on real source.
Put it in the lore.
I'll put it in the lore email.
I'm just remembering being in the heart and all those weird displaced places based on that description.
Make an intelligence check.
I'm going to use the guidance that Gunter granted me.
Yeah. Still
Perfect.
just like
Just intelligence?
right over your
Pure
shoulder.
intelligence.
21.
So
Very
thinking
smart.
about some of those displaced places, it doesn't have the same feel. There isn't
Okay.
like abrupt like laser cut like it was, where you could actually see rock like melded into the glass where
Sure,
it perfectly evened
right.
out. This is more,
Like
Look-
where the
Constructed.
potatoes were,
and
like-
you begin to look at the timber, and it's not like flat across. It does lean in. It looks like this is a different expedition of some kind. And I would say right at this point, Shay and Gunter, I believe you have the next highest passive perception at 14, I want to say.
15.
15. The two of you do hear the sort of tapping sound coming from where that creature went.
Either way, we gotta make a decision because
mean-
something's coming.
Is it coming
It
back?
doesn't feel like it's approaching. It feels like it's coming.
Like-
It's a very consistent, like,
Is it waiting for us? Do you want to check out to see if it's waiting?
Morwen.
you hear
What's that?
from right behind you.
Morrowind right behind you.
Do that again, but go check out that path.
On it.
You don't have to roll for stealth again. You crouch down and seem to almost disappear. You can almost do the Skyrim like high sneak. You duck right in
Yeah.
front of somebody and they're like, wait.
Must have been the wind.
You just duck down and scurry
Shoot
ahead.
their knees.
You rolled real high on stealth. Actually, kind of low for you, but high for most people. And as you creep forward, again, you get to a point where all of a sudden you can see little bits of gleam with your low light vision. And you see now this round creature, its big eye. And again, you hear it just repeating, it. And the wings kind of flutter a little bit behind it. And it does seem to be waiting.
Can I? Well, it doesn't see me. Correct.
Doesn't seem to.
Just gonna look around the room a little bit more. Is there
So you're
anything
in
else
shaft.
that's like sus?
You're in a bit of you're in the shaft still. You're in the shaft.
Oh, okay. Right.
Make all your jokes
I
here.
walked right into that.
Yeah, well.
That's a good one. I like that. So you're within like a mine shaft. It's about 12 feet high in the
fair,
ceiling.
yeah.
Not a mine shaft. It's part of this like dugout tunnel, but it is a tunnel, and there are areas where it kind of sprouts off. But you've noticed these are not tunnels. This is one complex, and now all of a sudden, like a flashbulb memory, you remember the throne room of Tisara, the Queen of the Mists. Those pillars that rose up in a very grid-like pattern. This is almost naturally like that. It seems as if, and again, you're looking at this creature now. I would say you can put enough together to realize it's leading you in a direction for a purpose. I mean, it's very mindfully, it's waiting.
Well, I
And now
agree.
you're seeing this mechanical hand, 4 fingers, the longest one just kind of on the cave wall,
Okay.
and you just hear it
Sorry,
again.
I don't know why that's funny. to
It's
me.
just saying,
Yeah.
it.
I come back. I relay this information, and I think we should follow it.
I mean, if this place was supplanted here or built, then there's no telling
Does
if
it seem
heading
like it's
straight would
pointing
lead us
out?
straight anyways.
In all
This is
fairness,
to
we don't have
lie
any other
in
sense of
the-
direction, and
Other-
this
other
thing
than I
doesn't
guess
seem
it's like-
Based on what
necessarily
Morwen said,
malicious.
repetitive.
It would
It's
be
hard to
bringing
tell.
things to us
Okay.
potentially.
Not yet. Bringing us two things. Is there any way
Or
that I could
do
like
you-
gain insight into
We
its
gotta
intentions?
find out what it is.
Well, I
Make an
could
insight check
also-
at disadvantage because
It's
using
not-
the information that you were passed on, you can try to determine what it's doing.
Well, could I also approach it?
Yeah, you could try.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna walk and like kind of.
Make a stealth check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna continue following.
like not stealth, just like kind of walk up
Wait,
to it. It
before
hasn't
you,
attacked
before
us
you do
yet.
that, should I also... I can try to follow it, and
I want to get its
since
intentions.
I'm sneakier than
I'm
you,
still.
I
hanging
can
on
probably
to
catch where it's
Okay.
leading us before
and I'm just
it leads us
peering
into a
around
trap.
Behind,
Okay.
and
The space where it stopped, was it just a shaft? or
other
was it another
hand
room?
ready out mechanically.
It just
Okay, I
keeps
got
No,
you,
it's
I
just a
got you.
shaft.
It just keeps going.
At this point,
Yeah. Okay.
at least.
Um,
I mean, right? It was just a...
Tunnel. Yeah.
yeah. There's no end.
It was just
There's no
deeper in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Forks
just
or anything.
gonna try to get a glimpse of it and try to gain its intentions.
You begin to walk, and as you do, there is a point where you get within. You would recognize about 30 feet of it, and all of you, now that you're listening for it, hear mechanical.
Okay, so it stays out of sight, luring us almost. Based on all that, can I try the
Make
insight
an
check?
insight check. Yeah.
Okay. Wah. 15.
It's hard to tell intentions from a creature that even you didn't
Mostly,
even glimpse it.
yeah.
Based on the description and based on your experiences, some kind of construct.
Sure.
Hard to tell the intentions. It seems to be leading you somewhere.
Oh, wait.
Unclear
What happened?
as to its intentions.
Okay.
Wasn't it just tapping on the ground?
On the
Okay.
wall.
On the wall?
Where,
It was.
I point to where it's tapping.
Okay. You point, and as you look, you want to stone on that, or what are you trying to
I
do?
want to try to discern if there's like maybe an ore pocket or something.
Yeah, you can do one of your stone cutting checks for that.
Like,
That works
Is
for
there a
me.
pickaxe nearby that
No.
I could?
We didn't
This
pick any of
is-
them up.
This is not a mine. This is a tunnel.
Okay.
And again, this is one of those 12 feet tall. This is not a dwarven tunnel.
Okay. Should have picked one up. Before.
It's just tapping to get our attention. I don't think anything going to be
Ooh,
where it's
that's
tapping.
a 27.
More of the stone, but you don't see anything valuable. You don't see veins of anything. You don't see any little bits of mineral that might hint at a larger deposit underneath. What you do notice about it is it's a flat surface and it's right at the edge of a corner, so that it'll be easy to kind of disappear beyond it.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Marwin, I would advise you stay snuck and maybe
Say no more.
get.
Stuck.
Well, before you go too far.
I can
You
hear
already
you.
said it.
I
Stealth
know.
check.
I'm saying
But I
before you
can
go too
hear
far.
Yeah, stealth
I
check.
still want. Yeah, I still want the stealth check.
You still want it.
I still want it too. Yeah. See if you can get ahead of it and see if
19.
you can get ahead of it, so that when I cause it to move, you can see if it's doing anything else. You know what I mean? Do you kind of follow?
Yeah, I can try.
You are no longer hidden. As you say that out loud, so
Okay.
you look to your side and
Oh, I
Marlon's,
didn't think
like,
I was
starting
when
to walk.
I talked to her. Right?
Okay. I mean, yeah, probably not. So, but you did just hide, so you are no longer hidden.
Okay.
So
So now
now,
hide
but
again.
if you would like, you can use that stealth
Oh.
for going ahead. So
Can
you,
I roll again?
Yeah, hide
because
again.
you rolled a 19, you move forwards in this tunnel, presumably.
And unless anyone else has anything to say, I'm going to like slowly
I've already left.
and observantly for like traps and all that kind of stuff. Like walk, trigger it, try to
Again,
follow
from
it.
the other room, you guys have gone about 170 feet.
Yeah.
Gunter knows about within 1,000 feet there's no traps.
Okay.
And he did relay that information.
Right.
So you follow a little bit out of sight, a little behind Morwen. Morwen, you get again, go about 30 feet, about 40 feet. There are areas that kind of are splitting out and coming back, and you're seeing and you're feeling it's getting a little colder. And as you round one corner, all of a sudden there is this kind of, you feel your hair go across your face, and you realize there is a little bit of a breeze. Stop for a second and you hear it.
Is that farther than her?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And is that also it moving or like tapping in a...
It seems to be in one location.
I'm gonna do what he asked and see if I can get past it.
As you move around, and again, there's like a split. Beyond the split, you can see that eye kind of leaned out. Doesn't seem to see you yet. And you see again, its mechanical hand kind of curled around it.
I'm also tracking where we're going, so if I need to run back.
Still cautiously and sneakily There's a split.
Yeah, so you could go around it because it's like right on the
around a
edge, kind
corner.
of looking. So you could go the other way around it. You'll pass within 5 feet of it, but you could try to sneak by it.
Yeah.
Okay. You creep up, and again you hear it as you move forward and around it. You hear and you see the wings now from behind flutter. You can see now getting a little bit closer. You're within 5 feet of it. You can reach out and touch this thing. It's almost
don't
comical
do that.
looking. I know you could. Is what I'm saying. You're very close, but you're close enough where you can see. This isn't clockwork like Twilightfoot's assembled souls. This isn't looking like some ornate. This is whatever is working
Doesn't
it
look like Louis, my grasshopper.
for visual rep.
What?
I bought a mechanical grasshopper and I named him Louis.
When? Oh. What?
When I bought the Bunta.
Oh, okay.
It was way back.
This is what you were looking at.
Oh.
Oh, it's kind of cute.
I'm on
It is. In a
Oh, it's
weird
Mike
way.
Wazowski.
Although the eye is
It's a monologue?
welcome D&D.
Yeah.
Mike was yeah.
I'm watching you, Mike Wazowski. Always watching.
I am. I'm Roz.
You're currently
As you look
rousing
ahead, this
like
creature
that word.
still kind of just tapping around. It is cute, other than the fact that the eye, when it moves, you're close enough now where you hear it kind of.
Ew.
It's an organic eye for sure. Still doesn't seem to notice you, and you see just kind of tap. And you're beginning to realize there's times where if it wanted to, it could sneak back around behind you guys. It's leading you somewhere. And you're realizing it's stopping when you guys stop.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element of you being a rogue and doing some shifty things in your times with the Mud Brotherhood. You've led people away from things before. You've been the decoy. And feeling this cold breeze, you're imagining you're actually getting close to the exit.
Did we agree that you were gonna follow?
Again, you're not anywhere near them, so you can't talk to them.
No, but I'm
But, yeah.
thinking about our past conversation. Like, did we agree that they were gonna follow me?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
my
So I'm
point
gonna
to you,
keep
yeah.
progressing then.
So as you were going around, you guys would get to this point. in
Because
the
there's still
split.
only one
Yeah,
path, though, right?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is what's going to happen then. As you guys approach, you suddenly kind of behind it, like looking at it and sort of seeing the eye and thinking about what it's doing. All of a sudden you see the wings and it turns, sees you, freezes, and shouts out, "It doesn't eat metal, it eats flesh," and just right down the steps much louder and just and begins to run again towards the exit.
Gonna wait for my friends.
Okay.
I mean,
You wait, and suddenly you see your friends come. That's why it ran away.
It doesn't eat metal. It eats flesh.
what?
That's what the thing said to me.
What is it referring to?
I guess me, because it looked at me and said that. So,
But it didn't
And
eat
it-
you.
not yet.
But why
It
would
ran that way.
Why would it
The
run
wrong
away?
way.
It's probably leading us to something else.
Do we sense the shift in temperature and breeze and all
Yeah, at
that?
this point you would. I mean, it's colder enough, and you feel a breeze. I mean, you haven't felt that since you came down the original hole into the quick cut mines.
You know.
So is it leading us out?
I mean,
I think it's
well, we all feel the
protecting
breeze to
something.
go out, don't we?
Yeah.
So is it guarding something?
Yeah.
But why
I
would that
think
something
it's-
be at an exit?
Well, right. It wouldn't lead us to what it was guarding. I mean, if we're trying to get out of here, we could just pin it and come back if we're really curious. I'm kind of just trying to
You know what?
get to.
Curious, I'm trying to get out.
So, it speaks common. I want to go Panache this thing.
And you took how many times can you do that?
It doesn't say.
So you can just do it?
Panache? No, there's a limit to
I
that.
thought panache was like once a long rest until you get to level like a 13. something.
I'll do.
Check
a-
on
I'll
it.
tell
I'll
you
do a
in
quick,
1 second.
Meanwhile, yes, you guys imagine you are.
No, there's
fairly-
just a time frame for it, or like there's a time limit on it, but there's
Gotcha.
no
Okay. All right.
amounts.
Yeah, you can. If you can find it again, you can certainly do that.
Okay.
Are you gonna go search for it?
I mean, you guys. I mean, the dragon was into it. Maybe this guy will be.
Wait, what?
Charmed for a minute. No limit on how many
Sick.
times you can do it.
Let's just find the way out. If it's there, you can do your thing.
If it's hostile, gains
I mean, but we're
disadvantage
still going
attacking
the
you.
same direction, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna sneakily go up ahead and,
I'm gonna try to,
slowly,
like,
slowly
catch up
follow.
to Morwen and do the same thing that I've been doing with Heinrich.
Okay.
Morwen.
Physically impossible for you, unfortunately, without the aid of significant magic, because Morwen's just 5 feet faster than you base.
And then gone.
Wait, but I'm on snuck, so he probably.
You are. The thing you also have to remember is, like, presumably you can use your action you can use your bonus action to dash. So you can sneak, use your full movement to still move about your normal speed.
Wait for me.
You hear Gunter's voice just kind of creep out from behind, steadily falling further behind. You get a little bit of a lead. Not much, maybe about 20 feet. But you walk for another 15 minutes or so, not hearing anything. Mm-hmm. And as you rise up, you begin to see snow now on the ground. And as you can see bits of it drifting in, and you get to a point where you can now see the outside. You see elements of snow-covered trees. You see lots of snow running into a long valley. The snow has abated somewhat. It is no longer a blizzard-like condition. Shay, you see something that is at once incredibly familiar and also vaguely alienating. You've seen these things, but never from this point of view. Directly ahead of you, let me find my notes now because I'm all out of order. The winch.
What is order with the finger gang anyways?
We don't do that. It's fine.
So, looking forward,
Order is chaos.
there are here, underneath the snow, scattered signs of plant life. This is a place that lives when it is not winter, which in the north, not terribly common. So that immediately lets you know you are in the Valley of Yagor, a very peaceful valley.
Okay.
To the northwest is the mountain range that is home to your home. But you can see that in this valley it is huge. It goes out with the mountains to the west that house your monastery, amongst other things, Kol Taram, various things beyond that, the Squall. To your right, there is a smaller range of mountains that you know beyond which would lie the frost line, the deep frost line. This is places that people in the monastery don't go.
Yep.
This is the deep frost line.
Yep.
But more important than all of that, in the middle, there's a very, very small mountain range. Is a strong word. They're compared to what you guys have been climbing, maybe 500-600 feet high at the top points, but a mountain range per se that splits the valley in two. The leftmost path seems to be a little bit more heavily wooded.
Sure.
It's a pretty quiet forest.
Okay.
You know that the Valley of Igor is fairly quiet, save, of course, the 3 or 4 giants that do call it home. These are not giants that have fallen prey to the sleep. They're hill giants. They're not terribly smart, and so whatever it was that affected the majority of creatures outside of the civil races, it doesn't seem to take hold on them. They're really not smart.
Yep.
You would also know that there is a legend that the members of the monastery know to be truth. There is a figure called the Crone. This creepy, maybe a woman, although it's described as 3 different creatures across your experience. Maybe all of them have some elements of the truth. Right. You do know that she is gray-skinned and that where she walks, the cold seems to follow. Above all of this, you can see, maybe not even 500 feet from you, a stone pillar that rises up and then through the clouds. To you, you know that this is one of the many supports to the Godwalk that somewhere up out of sight you have walked upon. You can see way off to the left, dim line lining up, probably another pillar, and way off to the right, you know that there are 5 paths within the Godwalk that travel above the Valley of Yagor. Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
17?
You are aware of about 3 of the destinations. You know all the names of these paths. They are called the Simple Idol, the Citadel Way, the Cold Way, the Path, and the Giant Step. You, of course, know that the path leads to Squall's End. You would also know the Giant Step is the easternmost path that leads to the Giant Step and the abandoned city beyond. And you would also know that the Citadel Way leads to the opposite side of Mount Taram from the entrance to Kol Taram. The other ones you don't really know about. The Simple Idol goes to a flat, top of a mountain, and there's nothing really there. And you've never traveled the Cold Way. That goes to the Outlook of Contemplation, which is the furthest monastery-owned place to the north. It is a place where many of the mystics go to meditate.
Let's follow the pillars.
Okay. Is this our wayfinding kind of thing? They lead home?
We'll go with that.
Is
Okay.
there
Still
no
trying to follow
sign?
Morrowind, catch up to Morrowind.
Is
Okay,
there
you
no
don't see
sign of
Morrowind.
this little Mike Wazowski
A perception check. You don't hear anything.
tracks or whatever? Anything?
Beeline in the direction she left. in.
Passive 14.
No.
Sick.
You follow it, and I would say you get out into the snow, and you can see this black cat against the snow, kind of looking for something.
All right, I'm gonna run up to her.
Okay.
Did you find it? I'm thinking there's some good stuff back there. From what you said,
What kind of good stuff? How good's the stuff?
I mean, it eats flesh, doesn't eat metal. So it means there must be some metal somewhere around.
I
You
think
like
that was the
shiny
thing we were
things,
finding.
right?
I mean,
I mean, we both like shiny
I
things.
do like shiny
walking.
things.
Yeah, I'm following you.
At this moment, you hear the crunch, 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 and Heinrich and Shay just walk past you guys.
But
Which way are
pin
you
it
going?
on
You're
our
gonna
list
go,
next to the aunt.
To the left or to the right?
The aunt and the tiara or whatever.
Piece of paper.
You don't know which path is which because you've only seen these from above.
Scam.
You have a rough idea.
Following that rough idea and following the
Mike was
closest trajectory that I would know that would take me home.
Okay. So northwest would be to the left, and so you begin to walk in that direction.
Yes.
After about half of an hour, you would be parallel, and off to your right, you can see that first pillar. Only about 30 feet on a side, but you know that that stretches up nearly 1,000 feet and supports a walkway that spans a huge portion of the north.
Who built that?
Giants, probably.
It's always been
looks
here.
like giant stuff.
I'm gonna
Where we
sketch it
came
while we're
in.
walking.
The gate, it is all
It's
linked
called
up
the
there.
giant
Make an intelligence
step,
check.
right? Didn't you say it was? We're climbing the giant step.
12.
Okay.
It's probably giants. Probably giants.
Something about, as you draw it,
Mm-hmm.
something about the way that your hand's moving as you draw it is weirdly familiar to you, but you can't for the life of you discern why.
Well, it's called
Unless
the
you
God
took-
Walk
unless you took real good
anyways.
notes.
Well, I don't think so.
No.
Something is familiar about the way that I draw.
It's one of those things where you're drawing it, and as you move your hands, it's like a deja vu kind of
Oh,
feel.
okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else I could do
Okay.
to further that, but
Continuing.
Are we still following the thing?
No.
no.
What?
We're going to the monastery.
You think the cat's there?
We're not following the cat. We made our way out. That was the point. We're now heading to her home.
I thought we were still following the eyeball.
No.
And then we switched over to the cat.
No. Okay.
I don't know how confused it's either Matt or Gunter, and I can't tell which.
Me neither, man. Me neither, honestly. Neither of those things were important to their goal. Yeah, that's what I thought.
You guys continue your journey, led by Shay through the snow. Here in the valley, only about half a foot deep. The mountains on either side seem to shelter this from the majority of this blizzard. And it's compared to where you guys have been, fairly peaceful, increasingly cold. Such to the point that even through the ring of warmth, you're beginning to feel a mild chill. That being said, all of you equipped for the cold or used to it in some way or another, not too much trouble, continue through, and you reach the edge of this area where the woods grow a little bit thicker. This is a lived-in wood. You see footprints across the snow. You can actually hear, I would say you, and actually probably Mormon as well. I would say all of you at this point, hear off in the distance somewhere an owl hoot in the night. This is not a dead place. This is not, I mean, you guys remember the somber, the Violet Coast, where there was this, the very, very quiet, ominous woods. This is a place where there is life. And as you travel through, there's certainly comfort in that. You're leading the way? Make a perception check.
29.
Okay, great. Way ahead, somewhere in the forest. And these trees aren't terribly close together, so, I mean, you can see big patches here and there. You kind of get a sense of movement, and as you look to your right, you can see there's snow falling off one of the trees. And thinking about that, you kind of stop and attune your senses, and you feel in the ground this kind of shake. It's far, whatever caused it.
Yeah.
Maybe not terribly far.
Far enough. Moving toward us, moving away. Hard to tell.
Hard to tell. I mean, it's you're feeling it through snow.
Sure.
It's somewhere ahead of you.
Okay. Gonna keep moving, but with that in mind, and attempt to skirt around it if at all possible.
Okay. You guys continue following Shay, who tells you nothing. And as you walk,
Where are we going?
You know where we're going.
Where are we going? I thought
Yes.
we were.
just walk
I see
about.
the bird.
What? So there's a bird, there's an eyeball, and a cat.
Oh, Chronic. I'm the cat. The eyeball was Mike Wazowski.
Who's chronic?
I whip out the feather and I roll at him. But I do it not in Heinrich's eyesight.
So these two are kind of like doing their normal thing.
Yeah.
Heinrich, you're walking up with Shay and kind of keeping an eye out. Shay, you hear first, and then I would say you actually, both of you would hear this because it's not terribly quiet. Off to your left, about 50 feet, you hear a loud voice. Not angry, but you would hear... actually, at this distance, I imagine what you would hear sounds a lot like this. It's a very low voice, and so you almost kind of feel it in the air. And then it would be responded to a little bit louder with something that you can hear, which is, why you have to always be such a softy? Tough is always the one. And then you would, you would hear a little bit of the response, which is, sorry. And then
Moving away? Not moving away.
little bits of snow would fall down from the trees.
Wonderful.
Did we feel that too?
Yeah.
Did we hear that too?
You heard all the words. You heard the first voice.
I
You
guess
guys
we're
heard like
bickering a little bit.
voices, maybe, but not anything super
we were still
substantial.
talking
Yeah.
Yeah, we're bickering. Give that back.
Should we just get out of here and keep moving? Let's keep moving. Get out of here.
Quietly, though.
Yeah.
Stealth checks.
Great. Hi. 10. No, wait, 9.
What's you got your guidance still?
I used it on my last check.
15.
9.
Also 9.
9. Okay.
15. 22.
Okay. Maureen, you
Black cat and white snow. Let's go.
lie.
22.
It is getting very dark. You guys are getting close to like 6 or 7 o'clock. Actually, you guys are close to 8 o'clock. Dark out. And as you creep up, there is a clearing, and there is maybe about 18 to 20 feet this rise on a flat mesa. It's this reddish rock. There's a couple trees on it and some larger stones covered in snow. And above it, you can see sitting, it's back to you, You've actually seen one of these creatures before. Back before you entered the Temple of Court. It is an Etten.
A what?
You can see an Etten. You can see
What's that?
2 heads on a giant body.
Double-headed giant.
It's a double-headed giant.
Yeah.
Sick.
We'll see.
We fought. It's the banished thing
thing
outside of the
Yes.
Temple of Court.
Wait, and it's on a tree?
No, it's sitting on this tall, like mesa-like structure, almost like a platform.
totally
built out of
misheard
rock.
you.
There are trees
Okay.
on it, and as it sits
This
there,
double-headed giant sitting on a tree. Okay, sorry.
as you hit there, they're kind of quiet, and you can see the 2 heads. One of them is kind of like permanently tucked into the side, a little bit lighter hair. The other one, like dark hair that kind of grows down a little bit. You can see weird like bald patches on the back, and the one that's kind of turned to the side turns a little bit, and just says, "Rough," and the one to the left turns and just goes, "Yeah." The one on the right just goes, "Did you hear something?" The other one turns its head and kind of looks around. "What?" The other one just goes, "Never mind." It just turns, and you can see it's almost as if it's trying to like turn its back on itself. These 2 don't get along great.
So what's our order? Are we all together? I
At
mean, I
this
assume so,
point,
but-
yeah, you guys are.
So we're
kinda
not like
clumped up.
in line order.
So we all heard that.
Yeah, and this thing, you guys were not terribly quiet. Does not seem to have noticed you.
Like,
But we all see it?
Yes, you see its back, and you see the 2 heads, and you see it kind of like angled weirdly. It doesn't see you. You don't see the faces on this. Its garb, different than the ones that you've seen before. Furs that have been kind of like mended together. You can see elements of something that looks kind of vaguely, almost leopard print that have been kind of woven into what all of you at this point would definitely recognize as oryx fur. Lots of elements of that. You can see little bits that are probably rabbits, although really none of this is tanned. These
it's
are
just
like
kind of like patched together.
these are wet hides that were patched together. And Heinrich, when you think about the bag you tried to make, you
Yeah.
kind of look at this, parts of it have like shrunken and torn, and there are elements that are like matted to its chest or its back from where you can see.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna lean into more and say,
I think I found someone that we could add to our list.
I point at the 2-headed thing.
Like,
Yeah.
walk off.
And then I follow quietly.
Suggesting.
I'm saying we go try to work your magic.
I got a little closer.
Okay.
I'm still
Forward.
22 stealth.
Yeah, you creep.
I'm doing
forward
it
a little
along.
bit. And as you do,
And I give Gunter the like,
so as you get a little bit closer,
I want to see what's on him.
you could hear. Okay, make a perception check. But you do hear the one to the right that seems to be a little bit more talkative, perhaps a little bit more intelligent. What'd you roll?
Passive 14.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Nope, that's a lie. 6.
Oh man, the Holy Grail right now. So you, as you approach, creeping through and like picking your way through the trees very quietly, like pulling the branch aside and then letting it return back and letting go. You get within like 5 feet of this actual mesa. You can see that there's not a path, but a part that would gradually lead up and then around to a flat platform. You can see this creature a little bit better, but it is dark. More of what you can do is hear and smell. They do not smell good. The one to the right seems to be a little bit more intelligent, perhaps, and it seems to do the most talking. And you can hear it now as you're approaching. It suddenly turns to the other one and just goes, "I wish Tapcore was stuck to me. He's stronger than you." And you hear the other one slowly again just kind of turn and just go, "What?" And the one just and turns to the side. You see, like, as it snorts, this big booger kind of go out and strike the steam coming up. It's kind of arguing. And then you hear, "I would even take Hraldra. He's smaller and his rock is smaller than that. But he's smarter than you." And the one on the left just turns and goes, "Are you mad?" What are you doing? You don't notice any belongings attached to them necessarily.
Here's what I'm scheming.
Coming back.
Okay. So you creep back, and Gunter now says,
They're gross. They stink. I don't wanna.
Here's what I'm scheming, though. You side with one of them. I'll side with the other. We work them against each other to our benefit. Get them to show us some good stuff. They probably know a good bit about around here. Huh?
He wants to die, so.
Listen,
I feel like we've stopped.
I would be
I feel like
totally
I would have
down
stopped and
if
and like
my
just nudge him and like,
future
what do they do?
ex-husband wasn't like down the street.
What are you talking about?
Roddick.
The bird?
Gunter, that's why we're even on this mission right now.
I'm having
Come
a
on,
real
come
hard
on.
time.
Have you
First
ever
it was
felt
the-
love?
All right,
We were going
I-
to Shays, then it was the
I turned before you're done counting down. I'm like, let's go.
now it's the bird and the eyeball.
We're walking.
You almost died. There was the wyvern too.
Oh yeah, I felt love
Oh
at
my
that
gosh.
moment. No, what?
I'm gonna march back.
okay.
What? I think I have a thing
Grab
for
like a
Heinrich
fistful
now.
of Gunters.
no.
Gunter, suddenly Shay grabs you by the collar.
I was turning away, exacerbated by Morwen at that exact moment.
So you turn around and you're suddenly you turn really fast. And all of a sudden you're just face to face with Shay.
It's
going.
It's just a grandpa talking.
That's what I was doing.
No.
I'm going.
It's the
Yeah! The one head on the left turns around, and the one next to it just goes, "What are you talking about?" And all of a sudden, it just goes, "Shh." Food! And the one that was kind of disagreeing before suddenly straightens up a little bit. "What do you mean, food?" And stands up. Begins to turn around and look. It's not terribly good scene. And all of you watch as it kind of looks almost directly across all of you, like quietly, just kind of frozen into the trees. "You can never find anything!" And the one on the left just goes, "I'm sorry." And just kind of the other one's turned away. What are you all doing?
We're leaving.
I feel bad for the other one.
That was pretty mean.
Like kind of just dragging and pushing.
I'm like walking away.
Yeah, that was pretty mean.
Yeah, I think that guy needs a hug.
You guys begin to walk away. And you hear every now and then, as you begin to progress further towards your home, just little arguments happening, although you lose the words as your distance grows.
I'm not gonna lie, if I was an evil character, would have gone along with that and given them the poison meat to kill them with.
Right.
Who's the last person in this group?
I mean, it's usually.
I feel like we're just still like.
No, we're bickering.
Oh, okay.
in the back.
I think we're bickering at the back of the line.
Well, we're not.
You guys
we're
continue
whisper
to walk.
bickering. In
Yeah,
all fairness.
Sure. You guys continue to walk.
Why'd you take his side?
It's at this point, you walk for another hour. It's getting close, as you would imagine, somewhere between it's getting probably close to midnight. You're beginning to feel tired. You guys woke up early this morning, and
It's almost died.
you're getting close to the point where
been a day.
you're probably looking at exhaustion if you want to continue to push forward.
Nope. And where's the nearest shelter that we can find?
So where you would reach in that time, you would come to a point, welcome to midnight, you would come to this elements where the trees begin to get a little bit smaller. Not like withered and weak, they seem almost newer. And as you get to about midnight, you come to a point, there's a lot of woods. Make an investigation check. You're looking for a place to set up like a shelter.
17.
Okay. With a 17, there's not a ton of areas that you could find great amounts of shelter. And as you're looking and sort of trying to find something, I would say it's not even a full moon. You find an area where there's a thicker cluster of trees. Let's
Okay.
say, grown close enough around where you could probably build up like some kind of wall or even sling something across to make like a bit of a lean-to.
Oh, you want me to do the thing?
Igloo.
And make it look natural.
Let it
Make
go.
it blend. Make it look natural.
Let it
Let it
go.
It's
blend.
gonna be my greatest work yet. I'm like,
Blend it in with the environment,
Really
because
wanna
now we know
show
that there are
off now.
things here that might
So-
find us. We want them to pass right by us.
Come to me.
There are a lot of things in this wood. Make it
Exactly.
look natural.
Whatever you think, you still need an old contact.
Takes a little snow and throws it up in the air, and you can see. Just make it. What are you making?
God, to make
so there, it's like trees right now. Or
So there's
in,
about
like,
six,
kind
the
of a-
copse of about 6 trees that makes a rough semicircle. There are little gaps between them. They're pine trees.
I'm gonna make it look sort of like a mound that comes like this is the
Snowdrift?
the semicircle of trees.
Mhm.
So then I'm gonna have the mound kind of go.
Okay.
And then, like,
so you make it look as if it's
flat
blown
face.
in like a drift.
A snowdrift. Yeah.
Make a performance check, I guess technically.
Do
Make
that
it an advantage.
Do that every fucking roll.
Yeah, make it an advantage because the roll had so much.
Oh, fuck
Still,
yeah. There you go.
17.
With the 17, you see like elements of the drift, whereas before they kind of into bricks and form this castle. You can see much more naturally. It seems as if this very, very thin drift of snow suddenly becomes intense in one area, just blowing and swirling and creating this almost like soft serve kind of swirl before at the end it just and it smooths over into a almost like a much more subtle Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas, like into a flat.
Yeah.
And
dig
it
this
looks fairly
aesthetic.
natural.
I pat him on the back like a proud father. It's like, you did good, kid.
Guidance.
And I say the word guidance out loud, not knowing what I'm saying. It doesn't do anything, but I'm
Feels
like, it
good.
feels natural.
I'm gonna just like, yeah, that's right.
Little bits of the last bits of snow
Yeah.
come off your hands.
All right.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You
you
did
guys-
poorly and then you did well, and I like that.
So you guys enter this sort of makeshift shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, about midnight. If you guys are all bedding down, Heinrich, you could keep watch if you would like.
That is what I do.
Okay.
And, yeah,
I'm gonna,
some things.
Does anybody have anything they would like to do before you take your long rest, or attempt to take your long rest?
I'm gonna go up to Heinrich and be like, "Hey, you like books, right?"
What? How did you know?
It's go reading your books all the time.
It's almost like you can read me.
of mermaids and men.
Okay.
And I give it to him.
He hands
I-
you.
Is it like crusty and gross too?
It's like,
Little.
well, I've been in the water a bunch with it.
It's like a little. Some of the ink is a little faded.
Okay.
And the somewhat colorful pictures,
Matt's
smudged,
couch time.
but you have that now.
Okay. I say thank you for the entertainment for this evening. I appreciate it, and I like put it in the bag.
Okay. Put it in the bag. What did you just do?
He just gave me like the whole.
So more uncomfortable than ever.
Yeah.
You wish that you could sleep to forget, but unfortunately, sleep does not find you.
Right. And I remember everything now.
Anything you want to do before you go to sleep?
I think just like sit out and survey the area.
Make a perception check. At advantage as you take some time to sort of look around.
I'm gonna make some snowmen.
You have all night. You have a lot of things you
I
can
know.
do.
I'm gonna start doing that.
We're going to do you last.
Yeah, of course.
15.
Okay. Look around for a little bit, and you do sort of see out of the corner of your eye this. And you see just kind of white feathers and wings. You would imagine probably an owl of some kind. And maybe a moment later, you're rewarded with somewhere in the dark this kind of. Another couple of moments pass. You're somewhere far off in the forest. Something kind of break a few twigs wandering through. And quiet.
Is it still creepy or is it just windy?
Not even windy. I mean, this is a wood where things are alive.
Well, yeah, go to sleep.
Okay. Anything you would like to do before you go to sleep?
Yeah. I'm gonna build a snowman of the two
Did the Eden?
hugging each other.
Okay. Make a performance check.
That's a 25.
Okay. You take a little time and sculpt. I mean, you felt bad for that one, and so you kind of have like a pretty good flashbulb image of him.
Yeah.
And the one head on the left looks kind of like a little handsomer than it did in real life, and the one on the right, it's like even more twisted in and real ugly looking, exaggerated features. But you get pretty good. You even like use your fingers to make little indents and make the leopard print pattern across that area.
Hell yeah, I do.
It's a very detailed, very, very good snowman.
And then I go to sleep. I'm imagining you like kind of like this, and I'm gonna sleep in the the leg fold,
Okay,
so
yeah.
it's like annoying.
Like
but he doesn't want to wake
I
me.
got you.
Yeah.
I like kind of kick around. Like,
Yeah.
So despite the fact that, very cat-like in fact, despite the fact that it would be much more comfortable to not to be doing this for you and for Gunter, you persist.
I think I'm like,
And I go ta-da and I put on my pajamas.
Okay. Ta-da. And what was it again? Your pajamas were smiley
It's
faces, right?
yellow with pink smiley
Yellow
faces.
pink smiley faces. The little rivets in this glamored armor just twist and expand, forming the little smiley faces within as they become yellow. Shay, are you doing anything before you go to sleep?
Is it still cloudy or is it clear?
For you with low light vision, and because it is a new moon, you have no idea.
No idea.
Well, it's clearly not clear because
Yeah, you can't see stars, so.
Then nothing. I'm going to bed.
Okay. Heinrich, you take watch.
Yeah.
You take some time and form some snowmen. Are you building
Yeah.
any?
I'm just gonna try to like mimic the 4 snowmen that Morwen made.
Make a performance check.
That's exactly what I wanted to happen. 6. I want it to be derpy cute, like a pathetic attempt
Aw,
to make
you
the same kind of
tried.
thing.
You
Yeah.
see, as you form them, you start out with Shay, who in your mind is probably the easiest. You know, like
Least
classic
amount of
human.
material.
You've
Yeah.
lived around humans your whole life. It's like a funky looking snowman, but there is a clear torso and like
Right,
a
I
leg
like-
section.
I roughly like carve out the garb that she wears.
You look
like,
around and you
very
find
basic
like a stick
triangle
that
images.
looks kind of straight, and you jam it like through the back, and so it's kind of sticking out a weird angle. And part of it goes out through the abdomen, so it's not quite right. But you know, it as I explained the other ones, you'll understand. Morwen's, you try to craft the ears, and they keep crumbling, and you get kind of frustrated, and the head kind of bends in. You try to like get some things. There's like one big twig that ends up sticking out for
Yeah.
whiskers.
I draw like a stupid just smiley face.
It's just
with
yeah,
dots.
line dot dot.
Yeah, exactly. On all of them.
And then Gunter's is a lump of snow with 2 rocks for eyes.
Yeah, and
no
then,
other details.
and then a frown. No, and a frown. And I make sure that the eyes are like far enough apart that it looks like he's looking.
They're-
You don't know if their eyes or ears.
it's almost like somebody put a bra on Gunter's head. Or it's not even.
Little
It
Nicky.
looks very little like Gunter.
Yeah.
a smaller snow pile next to the mound.
And then I make myself, and it's fine or whatever.
It's
Who
just
cares?
it's like your classic 3 lump snowman.
Yeah.
One arm, the second arm just won't stay in quite right.
Yeah.
And it's at this moment that you know you're aware of the fact that I'm keeping watch.
Yeah.
You kind of go out and you look around, make a perception check.
Okay. Had to get that one out of the way. Good. Now I got a 2, so it's a total of 3,
Okay.
or a passive 11.
You go out to the entranceway and you kind of look out beyond. You see the little footprints that Gunter left, not filling with snow. The snow is really starting to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't hear any animals. And there is this moment where you begin to feel almost tunnel vision, like your eyes have focused on something. And you know when you really look at something, it seems to almost get dark around the periphery. And there is a moment where, similar to the message that you send to people within your mind, you hear something. It is a powerful voice, although it is at once strong and silent. Go to the watch. You all wake up. You all mark off a long rest. And
What?
as it is the morning,
That's just night cut to day.
the beginning, you come to and it is light.
Yeah.
There is a sun out. There are broken clouds in the sky.
Have I just been standing, staring in one direction all night?
You have not moved.
So bright.
Do I have,
And
do
because-
I have snow collected on me?
Yeah, little bits. Because it is 12:01, this is where we're going to end for tonight.
You did that last time too with the "oh" thing.
It was fun. I did it again.
Do it every time. Shit.
I'm not going to do it every time, but
I'm gonna punch you. I'm just not gonna tell you when.
I saw an opportunity. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this chapter of the adventure. This was episode 24 of the Wyvern. Next week, what are we looking like?
Same.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with episode 25, which, based on where we are, the title is going to be The Broken Bones.
Wah.
Not ours, hopefully.
Please feel free to let other people know about our show. We're 3 people away from 200, which would be awesome.
Especially for one of you.
Yeah. We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give away the limited edition Adventures in Alberon Artist Series shirt. Will be a limited run till the second one comes out. Also, wanted to give a quick shout out to Campfire Quest because they always rate us and it's super cool. If you're looking for another stream to watch, it is currently the only other stream that I watch aside from Critical Role until Crit Chicks comes back on February 5th. So check that out. Finally, there's one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, not yet. So
Okay.
tune in next week for a cool announcement.
Oh,
But until then, thank you guys for tuning in. You're all awesome, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.